Time will tell. This is a banger. This is an incredible series, and we are into it now as Champion Select is upon us, and we'll see exactly what is going to be locked in first. First pick does go to D+ Kia, and HLE will be answering here. Counter pick on this team is very, very scary, so I don't think that, you know, right at first selection and being able to get that first pick is even all that much of a benefit here. And I do have it confirmed.
Syndra in meinem Kopf overpowered der Mage.
Unanimous HLE Esports prediction for this series. You are the only one that predicted D+ against Gen G. So if we are all wrong here today, we're all going to be sweating when we get to that Gen G series, that's coming up in a couple of days' time. We aren't going to see the Jace though. She is going to have to go 0-8 on something else. That did happen in EWC. This is the thing though, like you were talking about how like a lot of these players become more consistent. She has had games like that, but it just hasn't mattered, right? This was a team that went mental boom quite a lot in previous seasons, and I feel like the mental resilience has been...
Du bist wirklich ASL-OTP, Junge.
Na gut. I don't think he's going to get his chance to, but I think in this draft, if the Orianna is banned, you can go first pick Cassiopeia. You could also potentially go for the Lee Sin first pick because of Lucid's proficiency on the champion. You probably don't want Kanavi to have that. But Kanavi, if you go for the Lee Sin first pick, is okay. We're Orianna's open, so forget everything I was going to say.
Syndra, Cassio, Orianna.
Look at the Ori here. I want to see what the response is going
to be. Warum Orianna? Ich finde Syndra einfach besser.
Walk into Zeka, Kanavi.
Wenn du jetzt Orianna first bangst, gehst du doch Syndra und Nafiri und bist doch einfach sehr happy.
Lee Sin is right now.
Oder Lee Sin, ja.
There's a lot of factors here because so much is up. The Cassiopeia, another consideration, but we'll also be walking into that.
I think the Orianna has to be picked up. This has been basically permabanned apart from that one game.
Ich finde, weiß nicht.
In that game, and then that didn't look so good. That was where Scout had a bit of a pop-off yesterday. So not going to see that as a response, but there is a 1-2 punch here that HLE Esports can go for, and the Camille is going to start it off.
Maybe just Camille, Jarvan. A lot of engage. I don't think you want to let Lucid play Jarvan with this Orianna. Vi also fine here.
Yeah, you can't also let Lucid play Vi.
Yeah, that's also available. We've got a lot available. Including the Cassiopeia, which has not been yet. Jarvan or Lee Sin are both great ball carriers. And you don't know what the enemy is just yet. So it's a matter of preference. And matchup-wise, we consider a third option here in the Xin. I think Jarvan feels the most obvious.
Yeah, it feels the most...
Ich finde Nafiri is most obvious.
Orianna specific, right? Yeah. The Jarvan pickup, just a pretty classic one. The Shen is really good into the Camille, so we're expecting that one to come in. Will they lock down a bottom lane in theory?
Oh, man hat Weiß so eine hohe Prior. Ja, der Champion hat halt einfach, Target, also einfach garantiert Engage. Ne?
Really opens up Smash's pool a little bit here. You know, it looks likely he's going to be playing an AD carry in this draft, but he doesn't necessarily have to. And the Xin can pair well in early skirmishes with anything. Ambessa priority on our best teams at Kespa Cup has been incredibly high. On our Rise Group teams of this tournament so far, it has otherwise kind of fallen by the wayside, but it has been so strong and has been one of the ways to shore up damage if you do have an AP bot lane champion.
Ja, ich habe am besser auf 3 gedacht, ich hätte es laut sagen sollen. Ich habe am besser auf 3 gedacht mit der Comp hier. Das heißt, die können auf 4, 5, also die sollten jetzt definitiv Galio bannen, meiner Meinung nach. Weil jetzt zum Beispiel Galio plus Ziggs, Galio plus irgendein Control-Match hier unten ist so gefährlich.
Into one of these bot lane mages, or at least one of these.
Kann HLE Double Mage spielen jetzt, werden wir sehen.
Something that can do decently well into the Orianna, I assume, is what they're going to look to take away. Maybe a Victor ban to come
This
next.
Could be. I think this is probably a Vayne ban. Oh, Gnar also acceptable. We've talked about how this matchup is very volatile a lot recently in Kespa Cup because it's been played so many times there. Gnar versus Ambessa, that is. Victor makes sense. I don't think they're going to try to pivot this draft into like a Kai'Sa draft for Gumayusi or anything like that.
Although, like, theoretically it would work, it just doesn't feel like...
Ich finde, Galio sieht so stark aus bei Hanwha, oder nicht?
He necessarily wants to play Syndra.
Auch diesen Matchup into Galio, into Orianna.
So, tough call. Jhin also works, as he's a great Jhin player, but the Victor is what they opt for, which is expected. He may just go down the Jhin route and say, look, I've got an insane front line. Cassiopeia Jhin here to round it all out. You get the information about what's in the bottom lane first here for D+ Kia.
All right, what is Smash going to be playing? That is going to be the question here. And what is Shiu's answer to the Ambessa? I guess one of the options. This is an interesting
stattdessen, Cassio kann Flex sein.
Actually banned away.
Cassio kann noch Flex sein.
It's a statement of confidence by Hanwha Life Esports for sure that they banned the Gnar instead. Ezreal here for Smash was the pick he True Shot barraged his way to the finals with in that first game against Gen G.
Man, that was such a
It's been a favorite of his.
Barrage. My goodness.
It's been a favorite of his. It is the most commonly picked AD carry in this meta. That is, of course, traditional AD carry.
Yep.
See what that final pick is going to be here into this Ambessa. Vayne, I think not necessary here. They could just try to front to back. We'll see what they want to do. Could be a Cassante. The Olaf.
Olaf is a fun angle. That's what they're looking for into the Ambessa. So you don't necessarily have the same level of mobility. You were released about 10 years earlier, but I think we'll still be able to throw some axes around this lane.
Gallo jetzt weniger geil.
If you find your all-in window, you can make things very, very difficult for Hanwha Life Esports. You can also just chain deaths until it's the end of the game. So we'll see what Shiu is going to be able to get done here on the Viking. And one more pickup. What is Guma playing?
He played Xerath in Casper Cup.
He did.
And it looks like he's going to do it again.
As no P ist.
It doesn't actually
Cassio Botlane.
Aurora is going to be locked in.
He's playing Cassiopeia, I think.
All right.
It's the Aurora into Orianna that we've seen a few times. He's going to pick the Cassiopeia.
Ich hasse halt diesen Sensao-Pack.
Into that bottom
Okay.
lane, which actually is very good.
Ich hasse den Sensao-Pick.
How that all works out, and they have a lot of damage through. But this is not the thing about.
Ich mag den Ezreal-Pick auch nicht, ich mag den DK-Draft nicht. I don't know. Ich mag den DK-Draft wirklich nicht.
I'm gonna keep exchanging blows with you. I'm gonna trade with you. The Cassiopeia is like, well, I'm proc and conquer. If he does opt for it, I will fight with you.
Und es sind Sensao nicht gut, weil du Optionen hattest, wie beispielsweise Javan, wie Nafiri, die halt im Early Game besser sind oder besseres Matchup haben. Ich mag Sensao, das ergibt für mich, also gegen Camille am besser, weil da ist Sensao reinzupicken, I don't know, ich weiß es nicht. It's nicht so gut.
Recently, but finally, Guma usually says, no, it is still a flex. You're right, Atlas.
It was something that Viper was doing all the time, and unfortunately, he's not in our league.
Ich finde die Prioritäten im Draft einfach sehr komisch. Weil ich finde, ich habe so eine okay Idee schon, was so von der momentanen Meta würde ich sagen, ich habe eine okay Idee. Und es ist so gegen alles, was ich okay finde. So dumm, wie es sich anhört.
Consistent damage out of this Cassio is going to be very, very frightening. And you can guarantee that the gap will be closed by pressing Hextech Ultimatum on someone. And then that is just going to sort it all out completely. So we'll see how it does go here. The Orianna, a coveted pick at the moment, though. It's gone to the Rift, get into the game.
So, gehen wir rein.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for the first game of our second series of the night. Hanwha Life Esports, fresh MSI champions versus T+ Kia, who just came back picking up the EWC trophy. Both of them finding success, but they haven't met up actually on Summoner's Rift since the HLE the HLE win over T+ Kia in the road to EWC a long time ago.
Yeah.
See what has changed moving into this one. I like the D+ Kia draft, I'll say that. But I also just feel like HLE are very, very scary as Showmaker is going to flash at level 1.
This is why we see Camille banned usually in the first phase a lot. She's very, very strong. All she needs is one ability to actually ruin everyone's day.
Ja, das Problem ist, dass du da. Das Problem mit diesem Gank ist, dass du da flashen musst, right? Flashst du da nicht, dann verlierst du halt 60% HP und du kannst nicht mehr lanen. Das ist das Problem. Also, ja. Du flashst da quasi, damit du weiter lanen kannst. Ui.
Will not land.
He did use his Ghost for this though, mind you.
I mean, it is Ghost and Teleport, though, in this lane. I don't know whether that's going to deter Shiu here all that much. However, he did absolutely have to win the all-in. If Zeus had to come out on top, it would have been very bad for the Olaf without that ability to sort of cheat a recall.
Yeah, I just don't think he'll be able to do that to Zeus again. So Zeus, with this wave pushing through, should be fine here, unless he makes a mistake.
Hallo, Willi.
And there is no jungle attention up here, so... A little bit of tempo got in.
Also das sah natürlich komisch aus für Zeus, ne? So rausgeschaltet zu werden, aber was hat es bewirkt, dass die Wave schneller reinpusht und der weniger Minions misst im Endeffekt.
Potentially very close there.
Yeah.
In the exchange. But showcasing he has a lot of mastery in this matchup, and this niche pick Olaf that is doing incredible. I believe his win rate was like 75%, something like that. First time we've seen this one in a while. Aiming played it into depth.
Aber wie viel gerade um lebendige Guard? 34, wenn man in der Sonne ist.
Crazy times.
Pretty cool tech into the Kalista pick in hindsight.
Yeah, also kind of funny that Aiming was on KT back then. He then since, you know, moved around, D+K, all sorts of things, and then found his way back and has now left. So there you go.
Well, he's still there. He's just not playing at the moment.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no. So hasn't moved to a different org, but is no longer, or isn't playing at the moment.
Yeah, he's taken a little bit of a back seat to Fenrir, who's looking really good, but
yeah,
I know a lot of that has been discussed yesterday, so I'm not going to rehash it all out today. But Kanavi up here with Delight, TP commitment here from Zeka. It's an incredible dive angle onto this Olaf. It does have flash. Let's see how much it gets him.
Yeah, there are 4
Ja, ist ja gut, ne, dass Zeus da tankt. Well-played. Well-played. Wenn jetzt Bot nicht gedived wird, dann...
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. You could see she was not happy about it. Opts not the flash because he knows he's super dead. And I mean, he gets chain CC'd anyways on the initial play. But the reason why they go for this, which is more valuable than the plate that Showmaker grabs here and some of the lost farm, which is he's still ahead on farm, by the way. We'll get some of this wave from Zeka, is that there's no TP. So he's essentially going to be starved after the fact.
Ich stelle euch einen Reminder im Winter, okay? Dass ihr Klimas holt, wenn die nicht mehr utopische Preise haben. Und mobile halt. Reminder euch.
But I actually kind of think that this was fine for D+. Because I think Guma lost an entire wave as well. Zeka definitely lost a cannon and most of a wave in mid lane. And Showmaker picked up a plate.
I can flash now.
He doesn't have flash though, so maybe this
oh wow, this kid, no fucking way.
The Showmaker command protect.
Wollte gerade sagen.
Pretty powerful, and the last tick of Ignite is not going to be enough as he drinks his potion.
By the way, this is what Guma has been for this roster so often. Is Shiu, no ghost still.
Yeah.
And he is Olaf at low health, so a little bit scary to try to further that. But Guma's just, he lost some farm, right? He's a wave down now.
Mach mal, ja.
But he just is the one they leave behind. And they're like, okay, I see what you're saying, Atlas. You know, is it a big enough advantage? They try to push on the Showmaker. If they get that kill, if that Ignite ticks down one more, it's an additional kill. The Camille getting accelerated is a big thing, even in the support role.
Oh dear,
Shield close, I got shield.
Does manage to pick up a shield, and he's going to be fine. Never mind.
They didn't have vision in the river, so I guess they were like, Lucid could be there. I don't know, this could be tricky. Low health, Olaf, a little spooky, but ultimately he's lucky that he gets away here, but he still doesn't have teleport.
Yeah, and he did have a slight CS advantage a little bit earlier on. Now,
Boah, dann hast du einen fetten Lead, ja, aber Topside der Map fühlt sich schon so... Nicht unbedingt Desperation-Modus an, aber schwierig. Definitiv schwierig.
Left of this wave before he gets here, but Crystalline Overgrowth going to get eaten here by Zeus, and he'll go for a cheetah recall himself. So, looking a whole lot better here now for the top laner of HLE.
Smash trying to, with no supports in this lane, the range advantage, try to generate advantage. But this is what I was talking about with Guma. Hard to actually punish him in this 1v1, and he's happy to just farm it out. Yes, he's behind, but this is the position that it's almost like he thrives in it and pops off later on.
Ooh. Okay, Korea just some supportal combat, but that is not going to be real. Shockwave is going to connect as Korea looks for an angle.
Korea.
Is just dead though.
Sehr gut von Korea geblockt, Danny.
It's the first kill for D+ Kia. And it is a great response here out of D+.
A little bit of a buffer there, a stun to come through that actually forces a second flash to be used by Lucid. So looked cool for a moment and did get the second flash.
Oder von behind ist deutlich schlimmer als Kasse von behind. Das ist einfach momentan, also wie momentan Map gespielt wird. Das ist schlimm, wenn der Top-Laner behind ist.
Gonna kill onto his Xin. Still a very even game state here.
Obwohl, nicht immer.
For me is that if the
aber in dem Fall würde ich ja sagen.
allowed to just kind of cruise through this early game and become powerful.
Rob mit Support, ja, Support sind einfach OP gewesen, ja.
This could get very, very difficult for Humble Life Esports. We've seen Auroras never really be able to match the value.
Plus, du kannst halt roamen, weil du keine Lane Swap Protection mehr hast, right?
Unless they get pretty accelerated.
It's just so simple when you're ahead as Ori to just put a Q down and say, well, you can't be anywhere near this. And now the entire team fight is warped around that fact. Not to mention when you have an Olaf and a Xin, the thick of things, even a Shen. It can be very, very hard to avoid getting hit by that shockwave, even if you're not walking where that ball is on the ground, because it's going to get moved. But yeah, I like how D+ played that. I liked how they were proactive around that moment. We're able to get a small punish there. Guma is the big question mark, right? Because Cassiopeia classically takes a long time to get online. And if this mid game goes well for D+, and that 2-item spike comes through for Smash, they're going to be really online there. If they can grab the first dragon, for example, I think it would do wonders for D+'s chances of sailing through that mid game. We'll see if they can do it, because right now they do have control, but no jungler on the bottom side of the map.
Alle Klamotten sind ein bisschen zu weit. Aber jetzt neue Klamotten zu kommen, gibt keinen Sinn.
Who throws out the combo.
Dauert noch.
And she will be able to make it back to
Was ich für die Prime nicht schicke oder Trikot? Ja, ja.
Slowly but surely getting towards that quest so that he can actually start teleporting.
Ich kaufe noch.
Not get that huge shield that Zeus will
Ich kaufe noch neue Klamotten, aber dauert. Wenn wir das NSC als Vorrat reicht? Nee, das Problem ist, dass die meisten Shirts nicht Sommershirts sind oder T-Shirts sind, sondern eher Richtung Herbst, Winter. Also ein bisschen dickere Baumwolle und so weiter. Und das ist halt nicht vermarktbar. Genau, also es ist einfach zu dicker Stoff für Sommer. Prime League Finale ist am 12. September. Wo wird morgen revealed?
Have to distract them with an ultimate of his own, and the last remaining grubs will go towards D+ gear. But not having anyone die there, kind of crazy.
That was quite fancy, the way that HLE played that. As Delight gets out, as you mentioned, grubs do go over. Kanavi had to use his flash to escape, and arguably Zeus' ultimate was somewhat involved in that as well. Smash is in trouble, has Flash on E, so should be okay.
Und dann, wo es ist, kann ich natürlich nicht sagen, ne?
Delight has not
also mit den Händen gebunden.
Speaking of minions, really near too many of them. It was level 3 until getting this wave here, so we'll catch up a little bit. But you can see that damage coming through from Smash on a very squishy.
Mapset ist okay, auch wenn du Grubbies gibst. Oder zumindest mal 2 Grubbies gibst. Mapset ist komplett okay. Dennoch, AD Carries ist wieder Summer Diven. Dann außer mit 40 Grad, ich meine im September, wie warm war es letztes Jahr im September? Ich weiß nicht mehr. Also mit saisongebundenen Händen nicht reden, naja, es kommt drauf an, wenn mein Kopf auf dem Boden ist, wird es schwer.
Fact that this Ambessa is doing just fine in this matchup is boding pretty well for Hammerlife Esports.
14 bis 20, das ist doch
to
easy.
get through all of the shields and shenanigans that the Ambessa can throw out, but I think if in a full commitment, the Olaf should still be pretty scary.
Even though Smash survived that exchange, he's losing a lot of farm. Guma's caught up with Smash as a result of that. Career trying to catch the wave there, hold it, but so much denied. So this is really huge for Hanwha Life Esports. The game is dead even right now.
Mir geht's gut.
Boons for D+ was that small Israel advantage. Picks up another wave here, and we'll pick that, again, small advantage back up. But Guma's in a pretty comfortable spot right now. One of the things about Olaf we haven't talked about, we've seen a few times, Doran has showcased it quite a bit. When you get to late game into a comp like this that feels like it's got a ton of lockdown, Olaf just keeps coming. He just keeps
Mir geht's gut, wenn was hast. Mir geht's immer gut.
You can like press R and then you just Ragnarok and just sort of
bin heute Morgen aufgewacht. Mir geht's immer gut.
With nothing next to you. It is quite funny.
Like Guma positioning when you have this draft with the Ambessa, with the Vi, you can play anything and feel generally safe because they're gonna have to.
Auch leichtes Zittern in der Stimme. Nein, das ist alles toll. Guter TV, sehr geiler TV.
Smash, ladies and gentlemen, is in some trouble.
Und flasht er dann nach vorne. Das ergibt keinen Sinn, dass er dann nach vorne flasht. Hey. Aber das war so schlecht von Gumayushi gespielt. Also, bei aller Liebe.
Oh my goodness, Smash, that was pretty cool.
Smash on Ezreal, ladies and gentlemen, as Kanavi's gonna find out Lucid's in this bush.
Es war gut gespielt von Smash, ja, den Umständen entsprechend, aber es war einfach insanely horrible von Gumayushi.
However, as Lucid picks up that kill on his opposite number, the flash out from Korea will keep him alive for now as Delight's moving in. Lucid is going to be moving out, and in the meantime, yeah, Showmaker is just making crockery money.
This is a huge win here for D+ in the extended exchange. Oh, maybe not this
one.
Good ward is going to be there as Lucid stays alive for a very long time. Becca a little bit scared of it, but the True Shot Barrage does just pick the gap. And that is going to be a nice answering kill to even out that number. 500 gold the lead for D+ here, but this one's still real close.
So Aurora has 3 kills now. So that's, ultimately when we looked at the play on the bottom side before that, that was something we could have said, but when he had 2, we got the 3rd one there.
Also wenn das Season Ranking kommen soll, kommt normalerweise innerhalb der ersten Woche. Genau deswegen hast du gerade Master. Ja, guck mal, die Sache ist, das Problem ist ja nicht mal, dass Camille jetzt per se ein super schlechter Support ist. Guck mal, es ergibt keinen Sinn, dass er dann nach vorne flasht. Ergibt keinen Sinn.
So he's playing through this.
That exhaust absolutely pivotal here. I don't
Ergibt keinen Sinn.
Yeah,
Ich glaube, Camille per se ist kein schlechter Support. Ich glaube halt nur, es gibt halt geile Antworten. Leona, Shen, right. Super gute Antworten dagegen. Und in Solo-Queue wissen die halt nicht, was sie machen wollen. Also sie wissen halt nicht, was sie in Solo-Queue machen müssen. Ich weiß nicht.
And Zeka doesn't want to chase any further because he doesn't have any ability to catch Lucid there initially. But Lucid is found and taken out the aftermath by Zeka. So Aurora ahead, Ezreal ahead. Still a very close game.
Oh yeah. Zinzao also very far ahead. 2-1-0 is Lucid this game. Does have his Sundered Sky completed. Not going for the Kanavi special in the Hydra, but still going to be very, very powerful and definitely stronger in skirmishes, even if he doesn't necessarily have all of the clear speed the Titanic Hydra does give you. Ash just going to come and help Lucid out here as he does take down his Gromp. It's Kanavi getting as much information that he can, but will give away his position here as Lucid finds him.
Lucid going to clear this control ward that Kanavi dropped earlier in that fight.
Yeah.
Shio just biding his time up here. Unfortunately for him, Lucid's a little bit...
Wir einfach mal warten, bis der Location Reveal kommt.
Have to sit under this turret and, you know, hunker down a little bit. Lucid will get this dragon on the other side. And so D+ will get this dragon here at 14 minutes, very late.
Yeah, it's a super late dragon. Didn't we have third Drake at 17 minutes or something in our previous series?
Yeah,
game one?
in the game 1 we did.
That's crazy.
That was like lightning fast. This is snail slow.
Yeah. I'm glad that we're seeing both sides of the coin. As Korea just wanting to try and leech some experience here, as this Olaf is boosting his way back towards this top lane. Thankfully, there's a cannon. So that did manage to eat a lot of what that wave would have died to. So nicely done.
Maximal Stärke. So ein Tag.
With his Hydra now complete, see what the build is going to look like, but it's probably just Stride Breaker into something.
Herald, I would argue, is more valuable here for Hanwha Life Esports than it is for D+, given how much time Showmaker's had with this mid-turret. The fact that it has Crystalline Overgrowth on it right now, it's basically dead to any interaction with it.
Morgen auf Poolparty Freundinnen und so. Nee,
ich
kann nicht
really need that mid-turret down, so they want to fight for this. They absolutely
ja, sind die so overlevelt? Level 7 bei 15 Minuten? Was hatten wir letztes Game? Letztes Game habe ich gesagt, Level 6 bei 15 Minuten. Also so overlevelt sind sie actually nicht mal. Career vielleicht mit Level 8. Das kann ich noch sagen, aber ich glaube so Level 7 frisch bei Level 5 Minuten 15 ist so irgendwo noch okay. Das Problem ist, dass dieser Battle Herald so viel gibt im dritten Drake-Fight. Also Level 4 bei Minute 15 wäre respektlos. Das ist ja literally dieses, du schaust eine Wave an, bis dann Level 5,5 schon gefühlt.
Exactly, that's the proper play. Don't take a poor fight with no setup there when you have already done so much damage to the mid turret.
And in the meantime, I mean, they're just waiting for Smash to get online. Does have his Trinity Force now, still waiting for the Mirror Mana. And Showmaker will just get stronger and stronger as this game goes on. He's the Orianna, so they're in no rush. So you may as well not take the potentially losing fight. Moving up to a 1.4k gold advantage. As now Delight goes in, they're looking for Showmaker. They'll find him as, yeah, Shockwave comes in, but he's already dead as it goes off. And that is...
Bis dritten Drake ist der Herald raus. Zweiter Drake, Entschuldigung,
and a
zweiter.
pretty scary time here if anyone wants to face this Ambassador.
Now Kanavi's on the other side of the map.
Das heißt, im Normalfall sollte...
Looking for that angle, goes between the worlds as Ragnarok has to be used, and he walks it off.
Still going to be a ton of damage onto this turret. In fact, it's...
Kann sogar hier Herald placen, to be honest.
They got a huge wave here to push this one down. And the reason why Kanavi, or what Showmaker didn't know, or thought he knew, I suppose, was with that control ward he had in the jungle of HLE, was that Kanavi's not there, so he could be that far up. He didn't know Delight was there. He found out Kanavi was on the other side of the map when Shio was forced out.
Ja, Roa ist halt auch super slippery in hier, ne? Was willst du gegen, also wie lockst du die Aurora down? Ich glaube, das ist sehr schwer ist. Gut gespielt von Delight plus Zeus.
And hookshot wall dive into the public execution is very, very difficult to get out of the way of. And so the Camille and Bessa combination working very, very nicely. And so now Gold is absolutely neck and neck. A little bit of an advantage here as far as neutral objectives are concerned for D+ Kia, but that is about it. And so I think the conversation about where this game is going to go later on is going to be important, as Delight might be in a little bit of trouble here. Does get knocked up by the 3-talent strike. And Korea is going to look for this one. Nice taunt is going to connect. So
Camille support, by the way.
They're not going to be able to offer too much back there as he gets a bit of damage down, but will not save the Camille.
The Herald hasn't been used yet. You know, they haven't been able to get enough footing in the middle of the map to actually take that turret
einfach für den Drake, oder nicht?
This is going to be another turret going down here for HLE in the bottom lane.
Jetzt irgendein Overlay, das sich gut angepasst hat an die Lane-Quest.
Showmaker gets they're dropping it mid.
Standard-Overlay, oder?
Heading over to try to defend.
Hätte ich gesagt.
See if they can actually get that whole
Standard-E-Sports-Overlay.
Crystalline, yeah, was procced there. But they don't get the turret, and that's a big problem.
Also LCS, LEC.
Whoa,
Arcane Shift in from Smash was kind of crazy. There's 2 seconds left on the cease and desist. So thankfully, they had a very accurate count on that cooldown. Otherwise, I imagine Kanavi would have pressed the button. He's Kanavi. He press the button.
Career also doesn't have his ult, so wouldn't have been able to really help out there. There's a plate left on that turret. 45 seconds left on the Dragon. The fact that it's still up means that HLE are going to have to do something creative here. They may just simply give the Dragon because, you know, it's a late Dragon. The Cassiopeia's got 3 minutes left for Rod. It's going to be so strong later on.
Das ist bei anderen Overlays besser gelöst. Prime League Overlay, actually.
So,
No joke.
You know, pick your
das Prime League Overlay ist jetzt sehr serviceable.
But it is HLE.
Alles an Bord. Außer Stackies. Aber die Stackies sollen wohl, also wirklich schnell kommen.
That is generally the rule.
They're just finding out recently that they don't have to pick the battle. There's picking not battling. Which is a big win, reason why they won MSIs. They were able to adapt a ton of styles through the road to MSI, as well as the tournament itself. Tons of adaptation, but they are going to send Delight over here to try to get some information about a potential contest.
Yeah, Kanavi is over there. Zeus is going to be able to take down this outer turret, but does still have teleport at the ready. Let's see whether Kanavi can get this steal.
Oh.
He's not able to. Does get into the pin.
Weird.
Does get himself away. Still, HLE, they take down the top outer turret. It is still
reguläres Overlay ins Back packen niemals. Also mal das Overlay von Div 2 ist echt gut. Ich finde, also, hast du gestern Div 1 gesehen? No joke, ich bin natürlich auch sehr biased. Aber ich bin jetzt großer Vermarkter von Div 1 Overlay. Oh wow, Ulti läuft aus. Und er ist auch noch flying Kanavi.
Get himself out of this turret range. That's the question. The answer is yes. Has to use the flash to do so. As HLE are also looking for an inner turret here. True Shot Barrage does get double value. But Zeus is just pushing them away.
I think that Shiu, he held his flash for so long, didn't go so all there. I think he was just thinking that if he could hold his ground with the Shen ultimate, they were actually going to be able to turn that into a winning play. You could see in the, when we watch the replay, you'll see it, but you could see in a moment there was a moment, okay, hold up, we have a deep TP here to get the punish on Zeus, so it looks like ultimately they will get at least something out of this.
Yeah, it looks like Hidemaker is turning into Showmaker here in this game, Wolf, as he has teleported in. Zeus is...
ja, die Gaps sind natürlich was anderes nochmal, aber ja. Es ist, wo Easy Onchen der Meinung gefragt hat, ja, schau gestern VOD am Ende an, das erste Game. Dann siehst du es updated. Der ist niemals schnell genug. Niemals. Oder? Passio?
I mean, this Baron is going down quite slowly.
No.
And it is a 4 versus 5 in theory. They make their way over.
Oh nein, das ist horrible.
This Baron was optimistic.
Insanely horrible.
And Lucid will deliver an orb to the enemy jungler, and they'll say thanks for the leash. D+ are now so far ahead.
The crowd roars because this is a huge swing in this game. Hanwha had so much control. They played the Dragon contest perfectly. I mean, that was so brilliant, right? They got the top turret. They had Kanavi there for a 50-50 steal. Zeus' teleport ready. Everything about how they played that Dragon into the push in the bottom lane was brilliant. But then they just got too greedy. As we go all the way back to this, don't be surprised if we do jump out of this. But Shiu here is just trying to buy time. He's got the Shen ultimate coming. Flashes away at the last ball second because Lucid's here. It looks like Lucid's like, I'm going to flash for a Crescent Guard here to trap Kanavi. But he doesn't opt for it. He gets Kanavi's flash instead. And now he comes over here, still flash in hand. They look for the play. Delight goes in super early just to buy space, and they just blow him up while basically ignoring him. And then the follow-up here with the flash that Lucid didn't use in that bottom lane play allows him to get in here and close the gap, push HLE away, and secure the Baron. A bit greedy here from Hanwha. They thought they could turn Zeus' death into a larger advantage. It's Zeus'
Das Einzige, was sehr gut gewonnen hat. Ich bin da, also sehr serviceable. Mir fehlen jetzt nur noch die Stackies.
I like the idea of capitalizing, but they needed to just leave. They absolutely needed to leave when they realized they didn't have enough damage to take down the Baron that early. And it's been long enough that the Baron's been this tanky, right? Like, it's not much of an excuse. Like, you know that, you see that health bar going down, just leave. Just get out of there. It's too dangerous. Not to be the case. I mean, if HLE are anything, they're courageous, okay? They are brave.
Confident.
They stick around. But I don't know, sometimes bravery and stubbornness are very close friends. Let's just say that. Smash now holding the wave just outside.
Ich glaube, nach den ersten 2K Damage hättest du schon sagen können, dass du den Nash nicht bekommst, ehrlicherweise.
I want to remind everyone that mid turret is still up for D+. Like, that's how much control they've had.
And that was hit by a Herald, too.
Yeah. And that means that the Vi can't make any tricky plays, really. The wave is always caught by the turret, so it's hard to actually get control over any of the objectives or any of the prio. That's why the mid turret is so important. And now they just have to deal with a Baron defense, so getting into range to touch that turret feels like it is light years away. Smash going to take out this inner here, and D+ are just really ballooning in gold now, looking for that third item for Smash. He probably has it on his next back here.
Yep, Hexplate done here for Shiu as well. He's going to have the Ragnarok whenever he will need it. And Smash just rotating over, taking down turrets all over the place, more plates raining down. And honestly, like, Smash has just been incredible on this Ezreal so far.
Ja, jetzt die Frage, ne? Wie fightest du jetzt?
Honestly, like, month or so, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's really...
Weil du hast immer noch die Tools, aber hast du den Damage?
Carry for D+.
Weiß ich nicht.
We've been waiting for quite some time.
I think Smash has always been really good at Ezreal. He's been really good at Caitlyn. But when D+ aren't playing as a full unit, it's hard to see that sometimes. As now they're going to try to punish him.
Yeah, they're going to make sure that they are playing like that unit. And Showmaker gets close in on the two-man shockwave.
Da haben wir die Antwort. Nein.
Good out of Showmaker. And that is going to be the ultimatum thrown down. D+ say what?
Die Flash von Korea ist gut, aber nicht wirklich. Oh mein Gott. Oh mein Gott. Shit's nasty.
And these health bars are getting lower and lower.
Dass sie am besser nicht stirbt, ist ja absolut fatal. Das ist ja absolute Kinderverarsche.
Never underestimate that Ambessa with her buttons up. Because she absolutely will get the punish.
Ja, weiterarbeiten, ich wünsche dir was. Viel Spaß in der Hitze. Angenehmes Arbeiten.
As look at the Zeka goes back in and Showmaker says thank you very much. You turned my
and he waits for Zeka to deliver himself as well. It's crazy.
I was going to look for the one-man peel for myself. Let's look at this flash from Career too. But Zeus is like, hello. Almost gets smashed as well there, which would have made it a 1-for-1. Going with some fancy footwork in the fight, but still D+ with a huge advantage here. And even though HLE were able to get a little bit back there, it's not like that's going to give them alone map control. They're trying to get over here to muster up some priority over this dragon right now as D+ limp back to the jungle. And I just don't think this is necessarily the place you want to make your last stand on Chemtech's sole point here for HLE. Not because Chemtech is bad, but just because you're not ready to fight for it. Showmaker has an arm guard for safety for this upcoming fight as well.
Oh god, True Shot Barrage sails over Goomer and Delight here as the Crescent Guard used very early because there's a Viking being delivered.
Ja.
Goomer's immediately punished.
Gut, ne?
We are flashing in. This Ragnarok is lasting forever. As Zeka has to get in order to escape. And with those two dead, this is a guaranteed soul for D+ here. They are going strength to strength, man. There's another kill. Kanavi goes down. What is happening?
I mean, they're getting this inner turret down here. The cool thing about this fight is Lusa looks for the wind becomes lightning. He doesn't find it, but he's just like, you know what, I'm going to send it because there's an Olaf coming. And initially it looks like he's gone too deep onto Guma because Guma's so far back. And you're like, well, you can't get this done alone, but he's not alone. Look at the positioning of Shiu at the beginning of this fight. Look how far away he is, but he's closing the gap. He's closing the gap. They don't have vision on him. He's coming over here. Blast Cone in from Mega. And now Kuma's like, oh, half health actually seems pretty bad to be in right now because the Xin jumped on me. And they delete all that damage, and unfortunately Zeka is also cut off. So there's no damage to peel for Zeus here, and Kanavi, you just have to retreat. Kanavi's able to taxi his way out here, but Shiu gets the shield.
Die Case sieht nicht schlecht aus, ja, aber ich glaube, dieses Game war Hanwhas zu verlieren. Also, das ist jetzt, glaube ich, keine Überraschung. Das Game hier ist definitiv, dieses Game hier ist definitiv Hanwhas zu verlieren.
And Showmaker has now got a
Oder war Hanwhas zu verlieren,
there is also the cheeky little book there that he's got, and a fully stacked Dark Seal. And I have a feeling that there's a Magize in the future of D+ here if they make it there. 4 minutes on the Chemtech Soul, and if you're an HLE fan, you definitely do not want to see that over on D+ with how Shiu is going to be playing after that one comes in. Mega Blastcone is going to deliver career to a weird spot, but Lucid is in position, and Zeka...
Die Paid-Interns waren das.
True Shot Barrage comes down, public execution to try and escape as Showmaker goes golden to a...
Ja, kein Damage, ne?
All of the damage and follow-up, and Kanavi's dead.
Schon nach dem Nash.
I think the story of this game will not be about this Baron, will not be about Smash popping off. Most people remember this game as the Hanwha Baron throw. Yeah. This one for D+, absolutely safe, as we will see a last-minute contest. They're just going to drop off it and look for the turn.
Looking for the turn. Zeus is going to get exhausted as soon as he shows up. Shiu takes down Delight before the fight has really started. Petrifying Gaze is scary onto Lucid there, slows him up for a moment. And Zeka has finally joined the fight, tries to dash cannon forward, doesn't find the full combo on a Showmaker though, unfortunately, and takes so much damage back in response.
They've got no ults. HLE have no tools to walk through, control vision, and contest this Baron. They're going to have to try.
Kanavi just respawned. As, I mean, Korea will watch the top laner walk in, but who cares? The Baron is guaranteed, and D+ is just going to leave.
They just don't have to turn. They don't have to force an awkward fight. They're a little bit softened up by the Baron. But they knew in that when they turned initially off the Baron, dropped it and looked for the fight, that they could get those resources out of Hanwha. After they did, they knew there was no way. They checkmated that Baron. I don't want to compare this Baron take to Hanwha's because this is a 7,000 gold lead. But you know, my point was D+, they held their ground. They denied Hanwha so much. Hanwha looked for some very aggressive plays, but D+ were able to turn all of their aggression into bigger wins in response, sometimes defensively, sometimes on punishes. And it just felt like the lead trickled until they got the Baron steal, and then suddenly this close game was an incredibly one-sided one.
And now there's 2 minutes on a Chemtech Soul, which would be probably guaranteed end of the game, but that stage might already be there, as Lucid does take a lot of poke. Half of his health bar now down. But this Baron is so difficult to deal with. They don't have a massive amount of range, right? Like, look at this siege minion. It's just chilling, just hanging out. Gumishi will finally get up towards it. That's because D+ have kind of left the vicinity, giving Shiu some time to push in this mid lane and get some control back. Bounties are up. That outer turret in the mid lane still somehow up and available.
I think D+ are wise to be cautious here because HLE have their ults back up, and this composition layers its CC so incredibly well.
Yeah, and you don't have to force it. Petrifying Gaze, though.
Haben sie Damage? Haben Damage.
But they've killed
Smash. Was machst du gegen den Urlaub jetzt? Holy fuck, das Healing von Lucid, Mann. Was war das denn?
Oh man, they get their prize though, so there's that.
You can see what I was talking about in that attempt from Hanwha, but ultimately I think it's just too much of a deficit, too much of a hole they are in. Nice attempt here to try to bring this back. There's another one here from Zeka. See if they can push D+ out of the base.
Yeah, Zeus is still alive. I have to say that I'm still a little bit frightened. However, they're going to look for the turn. Gumishi gets surrounded and the snake will fall. Now Zeus is going to be their next target. Lucid gets the flash, finds a 3-talent strike, and it's a double for Showmaker. Lucid still going back in.
Schade.
They'll find basically an ace because Delight is left.
War ein Giga-Nash-Throw, aber auch davor so ein bisschen, also dieser Play-Bot-End von Gumishi beispielsweise war einfach nicht gut. Also unnötig. Gescored hat. Gut gesnowballt von DK danach, aber ja. GG. Die Azubis mal wieder.
winning a series where not one person predicted to win after they lifted the cup at EWC into maybe a lasting legacy here. Remember, this is an org that shows up early in the year and falls off. This time around, they're showing up a little bit later. They're showing up post the split in the middle, post MSI, where they did not attend, and are going toe-to-toe, beating our #1 team with a 1-0.
Boah, an solche Series, die lassen mich immer dran glauben, dass BLG Worlds gewinnen kann.
And I tell you what, I'm real keen on checking out the rest of the Legend group. If we get back-to-back upsets in our first 2 days, oh my goodness, I cannot wait. Lucid, that is a repugnant amount of damage. What is that?
For a lot of this game, I thought it was going to be Smash or Showmaker, but the longer it went on, I was like, Lucid is leading my vote right now. He popped off in this game.
That's like 3.5 times what his opponent was able
Show
to
Grand
do.
Let's get you the bets.
Du bist auch
nicht viel jünger, wenn überhaupt.
was
Wahrscheinlich
completely
35.
shut out of this game in its entirety, but not shut out of the series.
Ja.
Best of 3s here in the LCK.
Die Unbezahlten.
So Homolife Esports have a chance to bounce back. They can say, well, we threw a Baron. Haha, let's just win the next couple of games and we can move on.
Down.
But man, ladies and gentlemen, this has already delivered way more than I was expecting. Cannot wait for the next game. Gonna take a short break, then the space, then we'll be back.
W gewinnt 2-0 außerdem. Als danach beginnt dann TT gegen JDG. Tatsächlich fürs Gehalt zu spielen scheint super zu funktionieren. Also, ich fand Gumayushi jetzt sehr underwhelming auf der Cassiopeia. Muss ich sagen. Das wäre jetzt mal meine Impression.
빼 얘들아 밴드 조금만 보자 보자 카시 보자 보자 노플long 이거 해 앉아 노플이야 빼다 노플이야 노플이야 이거 안 빼도 노플 쉴드 줄게 야 안 빼다 노플 봐봐 와 오라 끝내면 안돼 나이스 좋다 끝났다 와 용혁 역시 나이스 야 가자 바위 나오는 거라 야 다같이 하면 돼요 잘했다 그거지 아씨 이게 가방이 좋네
Boah, ich habe auch Bock auf einen Döner. Ich weiß gar nicht, wann ich das letzte Mal einen Döner hatte. Einfach bestellen, ja, tatsächlich bei Prep My Meal zum Beispiel. Da gibt es nämlich Döner nach Hühnchenart. Und das Ding ist eine Wucht, aber das to be fair ist eine kleine Portion. Wo ist es denn? Wo ist es denn? Döner nach Hühnchenart, wo ist es? Ja, Hähnchen nach Dönerart. Brett. Ist ein Brett. Neue Sachen rausgebracht? Die Paella muss ich immer noch probieren, ich Idiot. Die beiden Sachen muss ich immer noch probieren. Schau mal hier kurz. Schau mal hier kurz Ende.
It's got an angle potentially here. The Baron not de-aggro. Karas on another flank. They do hook onto the Cassiopeia, who's left low. Xiaohao trying to get back out with the Hex Case, but it's just not there in time.
Oh, Leaf, du bist One-Shot. GG.
And will surely get melted. Does indeed. WE, this fight is exactly the kind of fractured, scrappy bloodbath full of chaos that they desire.
On Form check.
The GA comes up, Xiaohao, but the Angel on his shoulder shrugs their shoulders and goes, I don't know what more you want from me, mate. with that Baron ace wave in mid. 37 minutes on the clock and 40 seconds on most people's death timers. The game is sure to end here. WE made to work for it through the mid game, slowed down a little bit there by EDG getting that one good fight in mid. By denying Soul just that touch. It got late, you wondered about the Civet. But no, it was just too much. A 12-kill Akali game, a 13-kill Corki game.
Ja, 2-0 hier, passt. So, hier 3 Game Series wäre aber gut, ne? Was heißt von den Player Camps hier, was die Quadrate sonst? Was sind das, die hoch, ne? Ich habe gar nicht drauf geachtet, sind das die Hochkanten? Besser, aber das ist ja auch die Standard. Das sind ja die Standard-Camps, right? Das sind ja die Standard-E-Sports-Camps inzwischen. Ich meine, cool irgendwie, ja, ich finde das Ding allgemein monatelange Mordpropaganda aushand, ja. Ist nicht Propaganda. Sorry. Ja, also natürlich das neue Overlay ist sehr fokussiert auf vertikal. Right, dieses TikTok-Ding passt schon besser rein. Aber ich finde es gut. Sehr clean. Danke.
Atlas posed the question, will it be back-to-back upsets in the Legend group? Well, D plus Kia are trying to do just that. It's 1-0 D plus Kia over Hanwha Life Esports. Degon here alongside Ox and Wadid. And a very, very close game until one Baron call goes the wrong way. And after that, it was just too much for Hanwha Life Esports to come back from.
And you know, this is kind of crazy to kind of see D plus in this form, but also we did just see them win AWC against some top teams from the LCK, taking down the likes of Gen G there. So I think the question we were having coming into this week was, are we going to see the D plus we've had in the regular season or the D plus we saw internationally? Are they going to retain that level of form? Now this game, it looked like they were able to bring that level and really perform even after we saw some things in the early game didn't 100% go their way.
Yeah, I mean, in the early game, it was the HLE favorite, you know. I think they had the...
Es hat wirklich bei diesem scheiß Bottom-Play angefangen, ne? Trünner, Dankeschön für die 5 Vieren im Gang. Es sind die Aale geworden.
And he couldn't really play right? So I think everything was going great until some points...
Nimmt mein Schutzgeld an, passt.
Yeah, let's focus on that bot side. A lot of
attention put there. Even early on when the dive
Mit die Handy-Subbling
happened,
ja.
backs on off. It was a
Ein
great play.
Problem.
Then
Ist auf
early
Shortcut natürlich.
So
Bin ich dumm.
Guma
Ja.
wants to bait Smash.
Wenn ihr am Handy seid und Prime geben wollt, da.
Flank, but he eats Mystic Shot
Oder mal
there
haben
with
wollt
the
und
W
nicht die extra
another
Apple
Mystic
Shots
Shot
haben wollt.
there. Then goes in for the flash ult, sidestep, another Mystic Shot, and then here uses the E and the flash Q to get the final one and just secures the play. This was beautifully played by Smash to make this a trade.
But I feel like it was still okay at the end because Zeka managed to get all the kills clear on the bot side.
Oder Google, ist das Problem bei Google ist, dass du... Achso, ja, stimmt. Ja, stimmt, warte mal, Google, warte, stimmt. Man redet immer nur über Apple Store, aber Google Scheiß hat es ja auch, ne? Ich weiß nicht, was teurer ist oder ob es beides gleich teuer ist. Mi-Scam.
Good for
Alle Stores haben die gleiche Ding. Haben die alle die gleiche Fee?
Still going great, you know. I think this is the one that they really want to do it with the Camille Aurora. So it was really okay at this point.
And then they end up getting that trade kill at the end to sweeten the deal just a little bit more. So a nice start there for both squads. Again, it was skirmishy. This is what we expected from these two teams. And then the big call here, Hanwha Life Esports, they tried to make up for this time that was bought by Zeus by calling a Baron, and it was just not the right call at 20 minutes.
So it's a heavy commit bot from D+ to find Zeus. But the thing is, at this point, HLE have just reset and are coming out onto the map, and they only start pinging the Baron now. So even though he does buy a ton of time, a lot of that time was them getting back onto the map, and only now they start in Baron. You can see it's still full HP, so it gives the opportunity for D+ to move over and contest.
I mean, the timer is wrong.
Ich glaube, Apple hat 7. Actually, ich glaube, bei Apple kostet 7. 49 sogar fast, oder? Ich glaube, die sind, also ich glaube, bei Apple ist richtig respektlos.
That's the moment where you have to hit the Nasher, but even though, as Ox said, even though Zeus got a lot of time for team, like they were not ready for the Nasher and they fully committed at the end. It was unforced error. They could just back and like wait for another moment. It was just game-ending moment right there.
Yeah, and you could feel that the hesitation of like,
so, ich bring das mal ein Ding weg.
It's about halfway. It feels like we're getting through it. And not only did you lose it, D+ end up taking it and then taking control of the game here. And then it led to some crazy skirmishes like this one on the bot side.
Watch this shockwave that comes in as soon as Zeka goes to the other side of his ult, caught in the shockwave. Great defensive ult there by Showmaker, and what started off as an engage to try and catch out D+, get back in the game. It's just beautiful play from D+ there. You know, the dodge away on the public execution, the double taunt at the end. They don't completely wipe them, but we just keep seeing them having the edge in these team fights. And I think this has been a bit of a struggle for HLE. Their early game has been so solid, but they haven't always been rock solid in these 5v5s.
Yeah, and Guma using Flash at the end of the last team fight managed to not having a great time in this team fight. And also, in the before this team fight, Zeka was almost making the decap as well.
Oh,
so
well, he surely dies here, right?
Of course not. Because Zeka has no decap. So I think the reason why they're rushing this play is because they're behind in Drakes, right? At first, we thought HLE is still okay in the moment because they were still snowballing, even though they didn't have the Drake. But after them losing the Nasher, they were even behind in Drake, right? So there's no more time to for HLE to farm it up or like scaling. So I think overall, it was just a huge mistake from HLE what they had for this game.
And you know, HLE, obviously first team to qualify from Road to MSI, also ended up winning MSI. They're a fantastic team, but something I really felt in their series against T1, in the Road to MSI, they kept getting these early leads, but then T1 really made them work for it. I think the decision-making in the middle-late game, it just hasn't been rock solid, and this is something that D+ really exposed here.
I love that here. It has been watching Kanavi and the rest of Hanwha Life Esports powering through that early game. D+ came ready to play, didn't allow that. One big mistake was the end of this one. 2-0? Will it happen? Let's find out as we send it on over to Atlas and Wolf.
I'm not sure whether it will, Digon. I am having a feeling that perhaps we are going the distance here today. What are your waters saying, Wolf?
I initially thought the same, but I don't know. I was thinking about one of the stats I was looking at earlier in round 2 about how many 2-0s we've had this year and how it's like an insane anomaly. I don't have the stat in front of me anymore, but it's a crazy increase over last year or the last 3 years. we've just had so many series where one team has gotten the momentum and just smashed through it in game 2, and they got smashed right on screen right here while I'm talking about it. He was a instrumental part of this win, including in that outplay there in the bottom lane. I think Guma had an overall good game. Was kind of a victim of the game state. Delight's Camille did not work out, and it hasn't been the first time we've seen Delight's Camille kind of fall flat. It's a completely different draft, though, right? And so, you know, Showmaker got his hands on Orianna. That was a gamble that HLE went for that did not pay off. There were a lot of extraneous factors. Game 2 will be a bigger test, I think, for D+.
I agree. And we're here now into the draft to see exactly how it is going to go down moving into this next round of picks. And we do have
Camille ist schon mal raus.
already banned away, right?
Also alles da.
Some pivotal ones as well. The Ezreal has been kind of the AD carry that's an anomaly on this particular patch, so maybe now we're going to have to see Smash on the Victor or something like the Talia on the bottom side of the map, something weird. But we know he's definitely very good at it, but I think a little bit more even footing perhaps moving into this game number 2.
All right, so Poppy, Locke, Gnar. So Locke will be back here for D+ Kia, you have to imagine.
Yeah, I would not want to see Zekrom on that champion. In fact, we did see him on that champion.
Die hat gemeint gefickt.
It did not last.
Ja, dass das in der Headline überhaupt ist, wenn das Gehalt wahrscheinlich das Vierfache sein sollte, rein vom Player-Level.
It was sort of happening elsewhere. That being said, it was that game was still very one-sided.
They'll ban it.
Right, they'll ban it themselves.
Okay, much to the chagrin of the Korean commentators.
Yeah, the Korean commentators were like, no, we wanted to see the light.
Nee, DK hat nicht wirklich Game 1 gefickt. Ich glaube, Hanwha war schon in Kontrolle. Haben dann einen dummen Nash gestartet. Klar geworfen, aber davor hat mir auch schon nichts gefallen.
Like, it has to be in a game with Lucian as well, just to trigger me, so that there's Ashen Pursuit and Relentless Pursuit.
Yeah, that's always a bother for him. So, final ban here could just be Lee Sin.
Okay, mir wurde gesagt außerdem, dass oder ich hab auf Twitter for You gesehen, dass das neue TFT-Set wirklich gut sein soll.
We're in the pursuit of no pursuit.
Indeed.
Und ich habe mir die letzten 400 Sets habe ich mir vorgenommen, ich spiele dieses Set. Ich habe es nie gemacht, aber nächstes Set. Nächstes Set wird es soweit sein.
I think in this situation, but Lee Sin can kind of chase you down. But he doesn't have pursuit in his name.
No, you're not allowed.
Victor or Lee Sin, those are the two safe ones here, I think. As in the past, we were like, Zeka, Victor, no way. He's not even necessarily playing it in this draft, but he is much better on it.
Das letzte war auch schon nicht kacke. Das letzte habe ich kein einziges Spiel gespielt. Wieder. Neue Engine ist sehr buggy. Das habe ich schon gelesen, dass es gerade noch tanken muss und danach halt Big Payout gibt. So, kommen wir nach Fury kommen von DK.
Right now, very good into Lee Sin drafts. The Victor going to be locked. And there's the Skarner. Like,
oh, you and I are just like, we know everything that's going to happen.
Ist ein guter 1-2 von DK.
This one kind of stood out though, didn't it?
I mean,
super 1-2 von DK. Skarner vergesse ich. Skarner aber ziemlich geile Antwort.
This is how the meta looks right now. So let's see what the response is going to be here. I mean, they could try to reinvent the wheel a little bit and put Zeka on something a little bit more aggressive to try to.
Wir spielen außerdem definitiv Belvev, nachdem wir fertig sind mit Costume, oder? Im Winter werde ich safe wieder Dallen, ja. I agreed.
I mean, maybe grab Guma Caitlyn and just Caitlyn Bard this one.
It can kind of mess up the Skarner's day if you get a good tempered fate. But we'll see whether it is just going to be the bottom lane locked down. This could be the bottom lane.
I doubt it with the Bard, though.
That is true. That means there is synergy there, right? Yeah. Cosmic binding into the Weaver's Wall, theoretically, you know, can be fun.
I meant seismic shove, but yeah.
Yeah, Zeka was having a little bit of a conversation there, but looks like the Jhin is going to be the option.
The thing is, for Guma, he loves Jhin, he loves Caitlyn. Both are very strong with Bard. And so he was going to be loving life, I think, no matter what. The Jhin does feel a lot like a...
Ist bei den League-Klasse genauso dabei? Nein.
A little bit more set up on the upper side of the map. You know, like
ja, PS5 bin ich auch am Überlegen.
Weil
ich glaube, es wäre sehr dumm, nicht GTA... Warte, wann kommt es raus? GTA 6. Ist es nicht im Dezember sogar? 19. November. Das ist nach Worlds. Da habe ich nichts. Also ich glaube, es wäre sehr dumm, es nicht zu machen, weil es auch nicht spielen könnte. Theoretisch. ENC, ich glaube, ENC ist davor. ENC...
Very, very scary.
Ja, vom 10. bis zum 15. ist ENC. Warte, zumindest bei CS. Warte, wie ist das bei League?
Life Esports, they need more damage in this draft. I think Zeka's going to have to be on a scale.
League of Legends
is going to have to be.
Ach, 21. bis 29.
You know, confront
Und CS ist vom 10. bis zum 15.
As there'll be a Syndra ban there.
Ja.
For me, I would have been, if I
Ja, also es wär auf jeden Fall dumm, es glaube ich nicht zu machen. Genauso wie eigentlich eine Switch sowas wie. Muss am Anfang richtig Vollgas geben. Ja, safe. Muss halt basically am Tag 15 Stunden streamen. So, das ist, glaube ich, ein gegebenes. 100%. So wie Palworld. Oder halt jeder Game Release, right?
It's not quite working. The Vayne going to be taken away here to kind of protect.
First Free von DK mache ich außerdem mehr.
Play a melee champion. It might just be a Renekton or something like that, perhaps.
It could be Renekton.
Ring Fit Adventures ist sowas wie V-Sports.
The Yone was the other pick I had in mind for Zeka, if he was going to be the one adding.
In Mario Kart. Das heißt, du hast halt so diese Eli-Bubble-Runden, so nenne ich sie einfach mal. Die sind so Spaß zuzuschauen, aber das hast du halt in der League-Bubble gar nicht. Was anderes. Das war halt League. Das Streamer hier mit 200 Stunden waren. Ich hatte letzte Woche eine 100-Stunden-Woche, ich kann es nicht empfehlen. Ich kann es nicht empfehlen. Mir ging's katastrophal. Ich sag, dieser Bootstrip vom VfB, der hat mich no joke gerettet. Hätte ich am Dienstag auch nochmal 10 Stunden gestreamt, Katastrophe. Wer hat die Win-Challenge gewonnen? Kroko. Katastrophe. War noch 123? Nee. Ich glaube 107 Stunden waren es. 123. Ich glaube, das waren 107.
Okay, so a lot of rotational power here. A lot of pressure on Zeka now. The Talia is still...
Aniva Value ist nicht schlecht.
Could be what he wants to opt for.
Headset-Streamer, ja.
Rotations a little bit. Good into Skarner. Annie makes this...
Oder die haben kein Damage oder nicht bei Hanwha?
Don't mind the Annie. I feel like they're gonna need Zeus to.
Oder? Also sehe ich nur das so. Ich habe das Gefühl, die haben kein Damage.
Then Shu has so much agency here to counterpick him. So
is it Rumble? Like, does it have to be Rumble?
It could be Rumble. I don't know though. Feels like Cassante would have been the one I'd be most comfortable with, but they banned it. And so what is the option here?
4 Stunden Solo vorbei, ich glaube, das stimmt nicht mal. Das war weniger.
I feel like just doesn't really fit the bill.
Und das ist was, worauf ich stolz sein
I don't
kann.
think you want to be playing something like a Zahed.
Aatrox, he's really doing it. I said it as a joke because it's so tough to blind this, I think, in this draft, but it's something he built his whole career on, was blinding Aatrox and winning every matchup. So if you're still going to hang on,
Ich finde den... Oh nein. Oh nein.
I like Aurelia into Aatrox, but I mean, she Aurelia is a scary prospect.
Or just play Cannon.
Just play Darius. I think Darius would have been the right call, but it will be the Renekton. And so a very beefy
Also...
plus Kia. It does kind of make the Pyke feel like it fits a lot more. Right, because they've got double and they have a lot of inherent kind of tanky.
Ich finde den DK Draft schon gut.
What happens with these Skarner games is the Skarner gets, the Skarner sets up the lanes, right? He's going to be in mid and in bottom lane a lot.
Haben sie genug Damage für den Aatrox später? Ich glaube schon.
Kind of like that, as we've seen. We've seen that happen so many times across Kespa Cup here and the LCK, where the Skarner gets super tanky. And when your main source of consistent damage overall is a Jhin, later on in the game, sure, Annie and Aatrox can both do it a little bit. That Skarner is a huge problem, but consider also 2 tanky mages. Ryze is going to build the Rod of Ages Seraphs, and the Victor is probably going to go for the Rocket Belt. Yeah, it'll be very difficult to kill. You've got so many targets you need to cut through. The only one you can kill realistically quickly is the Pyke. Well, the Pyke feels like with this draft, if you get ahead as D+K and you have map control and the Skarner's leading the charge, the Pyke is just following. The Pyke is just catching engages. You got the gravity field and the Skarner. I like this draft. I think it's got
oh, warte mal, ich sollte noch Interviews anfragen, ne? Für LEC dieses Wochenende. Wait a minute. Wir spielen keine AD Carry mehr Botlane. Supports, Quest ist OP, Supports roamen die ganze Zeit, deswegen Mage ist Botlane.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Under the rift for the second game of the series and maybe our last of the night.
Jetzt bald wieder daneben für LEC.
I don't really want a 4-0, but like you were saying, Wolf, feels like there's been a lot of them
We had one yesterday as well, right? Like, I mean,
yeah,
I didn't think it was going to happen. After KT won game 1, I was like, oh, it's, you know, a T1 will bounce back.
And that's kind of what we're thinking right now, which is making me more
Hat er momentan OP? Ich glaube
because we have
nicht.
precedent, you know? The 4-0 always wins out, or something like that. But we'll see whether HLE can buck the trend and figure this one out. As I kind of like this bottom lane. I'm kind of interested to see how this this Pyke Victor is going to work. Smash has been brilliant on this Victor. The first time he played it, I was like, wow, what a waste. Because Showmaker is so good at this champion, and then Smash was really good at the champion. I'm like, oh, I guess it's fine.
Yeah. It's just a really strong bottom lane pick right now because it's pretty stable and a lot of tough matchups into 80 carries. And you just get through the laning phase, you end up getting your first component, and you're kind of ready to fight. And you're going to get your mana back, and you can go to the mid lane. And we've seen it so often pair well with the Skarner in the mid lane, but will also be the case here in the bottom lane, especially in 3v3s. Kanavi, though, is very mobile on this Lee Sin, and the blind Lee Sin first pick is a very, very strong one. It just comes at such a heavy cost in this draft because of the Skarner Victor follow-up, once you call out right away.
And the amount of players that really do like the Skarner in this matchup as well does give you a little bit of pause. But like you were saying, I mean, I think that HLE should be able to utilize this draft very effectively based on how they like to play the game, which is
So, okay, also in dem richtigen Discord bin ich schon mal.
At all times.
In dem richtigen Discord bin ich schon
with
mal.
agency is a very, very scary jungler. Let's just see whether it's going to be enough now, as he is moving towards his bottom side, clearing out his Gromp and his blue buff right now, and then should be able to potentially contest for this bottom scuttle, as we do have Lucid down there as well.
Really awkward for Jhin into mages like this because he needs some sort of setup because it takes him so long to actually output his damage. Otherwise, the Victor is kind of just chilling as his wave is very far away from Guma right now. Does have the CS lead, which is why that's the case.
Die geht bei EWC schon geil gedraftet. Ja, ich finde der Draft ja auch gut.
You can see that,
Also, das ist schon
without Delight's help, it is very difficult to actually try to put the Victor into an uncomfortable position, especially when you consider he also has teleport, which we've talked about a lot.
Yeah, so Smash, I think, is probably going to be all right. Haven't really seen too much break open, as Lucid here in a bit of a protective stance alongside Showmaker. Both scuttles have been taken. As Lucid picks up a rock, gives away his position as he throws it at Kanavi, who is going to move his way over, looking to clear out that control ward. Should be able to do so.
Nicht fighten, Lucid. Lass ihn nicht ragebaiten von Kanavi.
We're getting to the point where Skarners do so much damage. Okay, Showmaker, this is a bridge too far.
Yeah, he flashes.
Das ist ja Quatsch.
But Zeka can just
Also nur Liebe, aber was macht er denn da? Hä?
But Showmaker will be taken down. The auto was in the air.
So, was macht er da?
And yeah, pushed up a little far with full information.
Yeah, well, I mean,
was macht der Schuhmacher?
Kanavi, the question is never, it is never ever, has the danger passed? It has never passed. He is still in that bush. He always is there.
And
you better assume
he didn't have enough time to recall yet.
Oh, I know,
like, no matter what.
I don't fully understand. We'll watch back again. I wasn't really looking at the wave state exactly. No,
Date of Interview ist der 31. Remote Interview. Avindir Coach. Und Fallback will ich nicht.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, not exactly the best move there from Showmaker in the mid lane, but I like the gusto, you know. He went for it, and that's something.
He wanted a little bit more of an advantage over Zeka right there.
Yeah, and now he has much less. Zeka has a 450 gold lead, approximately, and it has spelled out into about a 700 advantage just for the team.
Okay, das heißt, wir haben das erste angefragt. Dann fragen wir noch am Samstag, spielt nämlich SK. Der Fullname Patrick Engelmann.
But can, in these more extended fights, actually be quite strong into a Jhin.
Yeah, Shu with the
LCK
Dominus
für Team
now
SK.
running. World Ender there for Zeus as well. Just going to escape the Crocodile. There's both R buttons just on cooldown.
Ersten.
All right, no Chemtech sold this game. That is going to be the
Remote.
first dragon here that HLE look to be taking right now.
Priority ist
There's a
Mickey
bonus
X.
under Delight, though, as he flashes to get the stun.
Und Backup
Gravity
ist
field
Wunder.
to make sure that that one is lined up, and I don't think that safeguard is going to be enough. The flash
Submit.
into the
Okay,
journey,
wir haben die beiden Interviews
into
für
the
diese
Sonic
Woche.
Wave resonating strike onto a Gromp.
Für Sonntag nehmen wir dann vielleicht, ich finde für Sonntag, für Sonntag überlege ich mir noch, vielleicht machen wir da Wunder dann. Wenn wir Samstag Mickey bekommen sollten, dann machen wir Sonntag Wunder.
Now has level 6 off of the Gromp, so there's not going to be any chase here.
Yeah.
I don't think Kanavi was that interested flashless.
Und dann für Fnatic fragen wir nach Grabs, glaube ich.
So
gegen MKOI.
He will eventually get forced to stop his recall. Great flash there.
Mit Interview muss ich ihn fragen, ob er will. Ich glaube, er ist da
which
eher...
angle he was going to take there. You could see Delight was trying to suss it out. Knew he was in a bad spot. At least was able to get his magical journey up.
Komm nach Razok, will nicht mit ihm reden.
With the flash. He is going to try to make a play onto Shiu here top side. Shiu's ult already down, but it reacts, so...
Yeah, slice and dice available there for the Renekton, so it wasn't exactly going to be a very possible gank attempt. As
Rexus, danke schön für die 5.
Alle.
Nur einen bekommen.
Imply he wants to stay. I think it does.
Habe ich gerade Geld gespart? Du hast aktiv Geld gespart? Glückwunsch. Glückwunsch. Du hast ja sowieso schon eingespart bei 5, zahlst ja quasi nur für 4. Und dann hast du noch einen on top bekommen. Du hast quasi für 4 gezahlt und 6 bekommen. Das ist so krank. Nur 9,51. Ja, wir hatten Major Drop-Off gestern.
But that is neither here nor there. D+ with about a 100 gold lead, but it's teetering back and forth as these minions do get consumed.
So another...
Nothing much in it right now.
Yeah, very close game. Small advantages, you know, top side here for the Renekton. Small advantage for the Victor. Picked up that first kill there on the bottom side. But because of the error of Showmaker, Zek is in a good spot as well.
Auch verdient bei dem ganzen AZB. Also jetzt hört auf.
The game has already been
Jetzt
taken
reicht's.
by HLE.
Das war AZB.
What soul it's going to be, but
es reicht.
Do a 2 Drake lead, that would be nice. The Grubs, I feel like in this game, not the biggest Grub game of all time. You know, we're looking at a Jhin comp, Annie in the side lane, Aatrox, you know, Ryze.
Mach die Kamera aus.
That might be helpful, but this is not like the Giga Siege comp. Obviously, Ryze has a lot of side lane power, and if he's left to his own devices, we'll get a lot done with that. But this is not a ride or die, Grubs or go home type of game. So whoever doesn't like the fight can just simply opt out, I would say, in this one.
Yeah, I do think that, like, as far as 4-1 is concerned, like, both compositions kind of want to play that sort of style a little bit, so you could get some side laning done, but like you were saying, I don't think it's the most pivotal Grub game. Still, they are up and available now. HLE looking for Smash towards this bottom side.
No wave, though.
Greifst du den?
Yeah, let's see whether
Er ultet doch, oder nicht? Warum ultet Smash nicht? Oh, er hat keine Ulti, deswegen.
Great flash as he gets kicked over the wall, and down he will go. The turret, it does destroy Delight. But DK, they're just going to be
Dönerbild ist im Discord, wenn das jetzt scheiße aussieht, ne?
As they attempt the cross match.
Oh, nee. Das Problem ist, da bin ich kein Freund von dem Fleisch, bin ich gar kein Freund. Und was ist das für eine Cocktailsoße? Nee, also, was ist denn das? Nee. Ist nicht approved.
Yeah, and Delight being able to tank up the turret indefinitely until he was dead was pretty important.
Okay, was hat der gekostet? Wow, Lucid. Was hat der Lachs gekostet? Ich sag 8,50 €. Wie wieso haben wir gespielt letzte Woche? Ich glaube 3 Games. Hoffentlich. Aha. Händchen Dinner wollte heute mal was Neues probieren. 8 €.
He also had ult, so if they wanted to try to extend that play, it was a bit of a risky one for D+ to try to
Nichts
do
gibt man mehr.
So ultimately they decide not to. The Skarner is so difficult to kill into this draft, again, because of all the lack of consistent damage for the moment.
Yep. And his pants are well and truly going to stay up as well, as you can see with double belts. If the first one fails, he's got a backup belt.
I like to think he's wearing them cross over each other like an X.
Oh, yeah.
Like across his giant scorpion abdomen.
Yep. Kind of like the cool cowboys from the movies, you know, that seem
to Item Rocket Belt bei
gun that they've got in their holsters. Cool stuff. Anyway, we've got some ultimates now running once again from our top laners.
Richtig nice.
This just seems to be the thing. When ultimates back up off cooldown, press button.
Well, Shiu has a pretty significant experience lead right now. Is up a lot on farm. Zeus will hit level 9. He's just going to turn this into a plate get.
Yep.
And we'll back away as mid laners meet in the mid lane with TPs. Dragon is up. And right now, HLE have a lot of control around the left side of it, but instead of looking for the Dragon right away, they're trying to kind of catch someone on rotation. Finally, Kanavi will just go ahead and take the Sonic Wave in. Career will spot this out. Roam Warp is available for Showmaker, so this is not by any means a secure Dragon start.
Yeah, and Lucid is going to walk his way over. Look at the health bar advantage. It is absurd.
Niemals haben die genug Damage, wollte ich nämlich gerade sagen, oder?
Well, Deadly Flourish does come down, and honestly, they're hurting him a fair bit.
Ja, das ist das Ding. Also Skarner into Lee Sin, dieses Matchup, du brauchst halt wirklich High DPS, sonst killst du den Skarner nicht. Oder das Lucid ist hier echt... Also, wie machen wir es? Showmaker ist tot einfach, ne? Ja. Großer Gott. Kannst du dir nicht anschauen. Lucid ist auch noch tot. Du kannst es dir nicht anschauen. Du kannst es dir nicht anschauen, dieses Team. Du kannst es dir nicht anschauen.
He killed Kanavi, so you have Smite advantage in the fight, but you don't have fight control. So initially,
Alter, ist krank.
Sent into Lucid, right? He gets stunned. The shot follow-up here from Guma is good. Lucid's very low, but they get the pullback here onto Kanavi, and the attempt from Delight to deny damage isn't enough, so he still dies. Here, it's very difficult for Showmaker to leave, but I think they should have opted to flash him out of there and say, well, you guys don't have Smite, we'll continue to contest and otherwise reset.
That's respektlos.
Lucid's so low that Showmaker has to tank. Because Showmaker tanks, he dies. He also messes up the flash and doesn't get out of the pit, which is not great.
Yeah, it was all a little bit of a disaster there.
Der ist auch wieder tot.
Now it's going to continue. Smash not going to be able to contend with a 4 now and 0. Annie in the bottom lane.
He got his role quest done before he died.
That's something.
Er schießt erst auf den Fight auf, ja natürlich, aber es war ja auch ein Desaster. Das war ja auch ein Desaster.
Good start in this game. I want to say, you know, he's exactly where he needs to be in these fights, has been so instrumental, but Guma.
Es ist auch ein Riesenproblem, dass Smash halt nie Ulti-Up hat für Jin und Jirette, um zu canceln. Weil der hat immer 4 Shots durchbekommen und so viel Pressure generiert. Space. Der ist tot, ne? Ja, GG.
Is so oppressive. You're not getting away from anything. If you get seen and they start getting on top of you, you don't have friends, you're dead.
Yeah, and also if you're Pyke, you're dead.
That's also a problem.
Don't have a health bar.
He's the one who's the most dead all the time in a draft like this.
Well, Showmaker making use of these grubs in the bottom lane. Let's have a look at how this all occurred, though. Even the captive audience to make sure that Gumyushi gets an assist from this play. Very, very cool.
No way for the Pyke to come over and impact this one. Career, I mean, sometimes you go fishing. Sometimes you catch something you don't like.
And just barely tagged by that Cosmic Binding. I kind of thought that sidestep had have worked out, but it did not. And so therefore, the Pyke does go down. Still, first items are coming on through for most people in this game. It is just waiting on Shiu to complete his first one, as he had to take a bit of a detour for some steel caps and an Executioner's Calling. But we know Heartsteel, very important for Lucid. Try and stack that one up as now Smash throws down an Arcane Storm towards Gumyushi, taking a lot of damage here.
Is it time?
Time for?
Pressing R for these two guys.
Oh, yeah, probably.
They both have their ultimates, so...
There we go, pressing R. There you go, well, thank you very much. Zeus, realizing that he hadn't quite pressed his yet.
Er ist tot, oder?
He's now walking the wrong direction, though. Bone Skewer will connect on to Zeus as the Ignite goes down. He's still stunned. The slice...
Oh mein Gott, okay.
Back. That was very cute. But it's not quite enough as Zeus is taken out.
Das heißt, nur 600 Gold. Und erneut, dieser Skarner sollte sehr tanky sein.
Yeah.
Sollte.
Not winning out on this trade just yet, but Delight comes on over to try and help him out. And that will get the Scorpion out of there.
I know we don't talk about Heartsteel stacks a lot. Oh, well, we're not going to talk about it right now either. Showmaker's going to need to leave.
Well, that is a Tempered Fate. Little mini stun kick into the wall there onto Showmaker, and he is surrounded right now.
Macht HLE aber sehr gut, ne? Wie sie Pressure aufbauen auf der Map und so. Machen sie sehr, sehr gut.
So, really good dive.
Mal sehen, wie OP Shibu ist.
By HLE, but it's in trade for the
Spawn mit 1,5 Items.
So first Heart Blood is going to even out the gold almost completely.
This game is so wild. I think...
Smash ist tot.
Okay, yeah, flashes because the turret got mad. And there's a bullet. Good sidestep from Smash. He tried to get through, and it didn't work. Gumyushi is going to be...
Also das Gameplay von DK ist absolut respektlos.
Again, On Jin, it's one of his best picks. He's got a lot of really top-tier picks, obviously, but this one is one
That's
he's most known for next to Caitlyn over the last few years, as Shiu may also be a victim.
Yeah, Zeker was tanking up the turret here, but does make it out with the flash. Shiu not going to survive, is Lucid.
Ach du Scheiße.
Not sure about that one, but
Oh!
the Pike
Junge, wo ist mein Pike hin?
in. Magical Journey, I believe, was taken there by Korea. He does find his way to Narnia, but isn't
Auf die
able
Weise kann er mir
to
das schon,
catch
doch
up
schon.
with Delight here.
This game is starting to get to a bit of a silly state.
Yes.
What I was going to say before we had that fight, the first version of it, was that the gold lead is very small for HLE because there's a lot of money on this. Renekton had a huge lead for a lot of the time in this game, but the overall lead that's across an entire team is HLE's, right? And that's why I think that the gold lead makes it look like they're not that far ahead, but they really are. Smash, it was a really tricky spot there because he was just on the edge, so if he knew if he kept walking, that final shot was still in bounds. So he walked up, and then he was kind of, he 50-50'd it, and Guma had his number. Here, it's a little bit of a messy follow-up.
Oh, the Impale got Zeka out of there.
Yeah.
That's what made Korea look so silly. He's like, I'm following the Annie, don't worry. Wait, where's the Annie?
Well, they basically made it so there was, both exits were covered.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
As Lucid here doesn't have his Impale for this fight, so contesting this Soul point for Hextech Soul is going to be a large challenge.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to go for it, though, as there is a bear dropped on the skull.
Okay, anscheinend haben sie Damage für Lucid
May
nur dann.
survive, but he's
Mein
not
Fehler.
working too hard. Great stun is going to connect there onto Kanavi as they do turn it onto Smash, and down he will go. Zeus now fighting against Shiu here as it's a decent bone skewer, but killing the Aatrox is not saving that Soul point, and I don't know whether they can even kill the Aatrox. As Shiu, he has to try and get out of there. The Dominus comes on forward, another bone skewer, but it does not matter. It's Kanavi grabbing another one, and HLE are really running away with it now.
They really are. And that fight looked kind of peculiar because we had Showmaker on the other side there on the Dragon, you know, saying like, you may have gotten our jungler out of the pit, but wait until my jungler gets back, we're going to take this Dragon.
Als wir einen Go-Jungler hatten,
Wait a minute, the
ja.
logic doesn't add up.
Erzählst wieder vom
Lucid
Krieg,
here
Onkel, ne?
Trying to close the gap, doesn't have his Impale.
Merk schon.
If he had Impale, they wouldn't even play as far up, right? Because he could flash Impale them, but they know he doesn't have it, so they just walk straight up to him.
Ja, normalerweise haben sie nicht genug Damage.
With the Renekton, can I get the Dragon as Kanavi's by himself?
He is. He's dead. Okay, Smash is going to pick up that kill.
That's
Probably
normal.
very good.
That's
for D+.
normal. That's very normal.
I think this was intended, wasn't it? The intended outcome here for HLE. Kanavi gets a lot of information. There are bad guys in the top side.
Yeah, if you were, you know, a Hanwha fan at the doctor's office, the doctor was taking a look at this, like, oh yes, well this can happen at this part of the season, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it is very normal actually to be, you know, 2,000 gold ahead, but your Kanavi just sends a rip to the enemy jungle. And
He
gets
wanted
Impale die.
to kill the outer turret top lane with Shelly, but found bad guys. Okay.
Well, die werden komplett gerollt. It is what it is.
But the stun comes in, and boom goes the Renekton.
Can't have nice
Zeker
things.
does so much damage on this
Da währenddessen JDG gegen CT draft auf und da ist Game 1 ein sogenannter JDG-Win.
Because he is 5-1-5 right now.
Yeah, he also does not really have any of the magical types of resistances, so
No.
he is the biggest lead for D+, though.
Ich schmelze. Die Klimaanlage muss bestellt werden, Madame. Ich erinnere euch alle, im Winter erinnere ich euch alle daran.
I'll even get the scuttle on the way out. I think D+ are playing the map really well, despite the deficit. They're finding small pockets of gold here and there, but it's the team fighting where they just have no control and no agency in this one anymore. And so it just gets tougher and tougher when we get to the brass tacks of it's Hextech Soul on the next Dragon, 2.5. You can't just walk away from that one or just send your Skarner forward with no Impale on that one, or you're going to lose the game.
Moorbestellung
You
normalerweise
need to figure out now in the next 2.5
von
minutes,
3 Tage bis eine
if
Woche.
it's even possible, and look for control over the area. You've got a Victor, you've got a Skarner with Flash Impale, you've got Realm Warp for different creative angles. This is going to be a moment where D+ find a miracle, right? They're able to pull a rabbit out of a hat here, or otherwise, I think we are going the distance.
Yeah, and they also need
Ja,
to make
JG
sure
gewinnt
they
Game 1
protect
außerdem.
Smash, who will have his flash available for this next Dragon fight, which is going to be very, very important. The Baron has just spawned as well, and getting value out of Korea, I think, will be a difficult task as well, one that they need to try and figure out, because the Pyke, as the game goes later, as we've experienced, just kind of does less and less.
A lot of aggression here from HLE to get control of that Dragon Pit. It's a bit early, but setting up to push the Renekton away, letting this wave get pushed by Zeus on the bottom side. No one's answering Showmaker currently, though. And this kind of has been the trend of mid laners behind.
Yeah.
They just go all the way as close as they get to the enemy base, while the rest of the group is trying to collapse on their other side, and then their other side laner, usually the top laner, ends up getting a defensive posture, and then it's rinse and repeat. So like HLE wanted to get something there, and it's kind of a net negative, in fact, what they get overall, because they were in control of the Dragon too early. Got some vision, but there's plenty of time for D+ to recontest and clear it.
Zeka was looking for a bit of an angle towards Korea there. He knew he could one-shot him if he got anywhere near, but wasn't actually able to. Nice little dash away there. So Korea will live for the minute. Smash just trying to safely lock down these minions.
This is tricky.
Yeah. Showmaker moving on over. They do not manage to get the wallbang on to Zeus, but he gets slowed down as the rocks come in. The
Haben die überhaupt Damage für den?
now invested.
I mean,
And
Shu has
50
DP.
seconds until
Are
Drake.
they gonna, if they had vision control over Baron, there was an angle there to at least try to turn this into a force of some answer from HLE, because Zeus was the one with TP on the top side of the map. He wouldn't have been able to TP to stop the Baron. Zeka didn't have it, but they don't have enough control. They don't have really the damage just yet either on that top side play there to look for something like that. No Gambit. They don't end up with Dragon control at all whatsoever. They're going to be the ones who have to walk in. They do have those tools though, right? The Flash Impale. They have the Smash Flash back available, like you mentioned.
Yep.
There are some ways here.
Oh, but they may not have their Scorpion. Never mind, he's incredibly tanky. It's kind of absurd.
Oh.
There's the kick, though. Into the
Oh, bye-bye, buddy. Da
and
kommt
they
der Tribus.
line them up. Gumayushi's now set up to get the damage in, and Showmaker is just dead. The answering kill is going to be there, though, as the damage from Smash is pretty massive. Korea tanking up so many of these bullets and goes down to the Aatrox. They catch Shiu mid-slice as well, which was gorgeous. And a 2-for-1 is going to ensue. That should guarantee this soul.
I don't know what D+ are going to do here. Renekton has TP to come back in at full health. Some poke coming through from Smash here, but it's on to Delight. I think they're just otherwise largely going to ignore them and take this Dragon.
Well, Realm Warp is up.
Wir sind nur für ein 2-for-1. Ja, also Burst gut, DPS noch schwierig. Der Jin braucht mehr Items.
Get anywhere near it. Guma and Delight are holding the line.
Yeah, control wards are going down, and D+, they realize they are not taking this one away. So 4 Drakes in a row, 6 minutes until an incredibly early Elder. The gold lead is still not massive, but yeah, Hextech Soul, yeah, gold need not apply.
Yeah. It's an issue about the breakpoints of the items here for D+ as well, as they need that actualizer for Showmaker before he can really do damage. The idea here
Der Stachel lebt noch, der Stachel lebt tatsächlich noch, ja.
You can see they want to look for the Flash Impale, but it's the Tempered Fate that ruins everything they're trying to do here. Shiu gets in the back line. Imagine with an Impale here what he would have been able to do, but the Impale is just really useless at the end of the day in the grand scheme of things because of that ultimate there from Delight, and they just kind of have to walk away.
It's beautifully done. And now, 15-7 is going to be the kill lead here for Harmalife Esports. They've kept this one at about a kill a minute, a much more bloody game than the last one, and it does feel like it suits HLE absolutely perfectly. As Korea, not sure about that one, as he is going to be able to bone skewer Zeka, gets him back over that wall, but it's looking somewhat dangerous. Did at least have a blue man down there to try and help him out.
Showmaker's got to be about halfway to that third item, and I don't know, surviving a Baron push is realistic. I mean, they have a Rise, they have a Victor, but, okay, Kanavi, be careful.
Yeah, Lucid looking to try and take this fight because Smash was moving up. Shiu was waiting over the side.
I do think that HLE have a bit of a problem with Baron damage themselves, even from a lead here, so they're finding it difficult to look for Baron in turn, and after game 1, I think you can expect there's probably a little bit of extra weight on their minds in that regard, but they aren't getting the Baron just yet, and D+ are just kind of farming it up at this moment in time.
Diese 3 KD Meta, also das Problem ist nur, dass wenn Gumayushi Items reinbekommt, also wenn der LDA hat, dann macht er halt richtig Damage. So, und dann ist auch Lucid mal ganz schnell tot. Ganz, ganz schnell tot. Wow, wow. Reicht es für einen Teamfight-Win? Wo ist der W?
but misses a bunch of buttons. Now Showmaker
Wow, guter
flashes
Flash.
away from Delight, who tries to flash in. Everyone is using their summoner spells now.
The whole time that fight was happening, and I think probably every Huddle Life esports fan in the world was like, that's a Skarner in a choke point. You're going deep. I thought he might have gotten more. He was sitting on Flash Impale.
Ja, die brauchen LDA.
There was like almost a 5-man Impale angle there, but he gets the 2 that matter when they go way too far forward here after Delight's ultimate. As you can see, the Impale comes through, or sorry, the ultimate from Delight comes through there, and then Zeka walks forward here.
Guter Cancel von Lucid, Mann. Und dann Guma Ishimi Step.
Here's the worst of it.
That's crazy.
That's so much of your damage gone, and a comp that's already so low damage outside of combos, which is why they played it that way. And then Smash and Showmaker here are able to kite it out. Showmaker is able to flash. If he gets caught there, could have been way worse. They might have been able to turn it into a Baron play.
Ja, Skarner tankt erneut. Das ist halt eine Comp, die hat nicht sehr viel Damage. Also Burst okay, aber DPS noch nicht. Die brauchen LDA fertig beim Jhin.
I don't feel like chasing the
Und der Jhin hat halt auch nicht
into
gehittet.
the choke in the enemy jungle was necessarily the most optimal play there.
Wow, 2 damage between Zeka and Xiu. 2 damage. That's ridiculous. That's the closest I've seen a damage grab.
Zeka's clearly in the lead though.
Clearly, by 2. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Xiu almost did and damage to an Aatrox, which would have put him in the lead, but he did not. And so that means that, as you say, absolutely clearly.
I think the key thing to note here is like how little agency Showmaker and Smash have had.
Okay, hold on. That's another Impale onto Kanavi. Tempered Fate goes down. He does just have the W to get himself out of there. Now Zeus is looking to make his way in. Nice little knock-up as the curtains are being called, pulled back by the Infernal Chains. And down goes the Skarner. That should mean Baron. Kanavi is already on it. And Zeus is already underneath the enemy inhibitor turret. I'm not sure whether he really wants to, as he's going to have to umbrally dash through that base gate. Does do that as Xiu looking to make his way in. The Arcane Storm not going to follow them that far. And still, I mean, 30 seconds to wait on Luke.
Das sollten sie nicht fragen können, diesmal, diesmal sicherlich nicht. Nee, also das Game ist gewonnen. Der hat gleich LDA fertig und dann knallt er auch den Skarner um. Und der ist das Einzige, was ihn am Game hält.
No further than him being like, guys, Baron is up. I think we can just back away here. He's the one who starts this off. Now, this time going into this Skarner solo and then running away means, hey, wait a minute, there's no more Impale in this choke point. So it's actually fine to chase here if they all go. But Kanavi is going to the Baron. This Jhin ultimate is very high value, and I think this is the moment where you turn around. But Delight is going forward. Zeus is on the chase on the Showmaker, and it's all a bit silly in the end, as they all try to come over here to try to help him, which means they're also not on Baron, which means Kanavi gets off Baron. Xiu shows up, and they've all taken so much damage from this Victor that it's very awkward. They're all very low health. The respawns are coming, and they can't actually do Baron. So Baron does not happen. In live, Elder in 30. Lucid, no flash.
Oh, no. Wolf, is this just are we just burger flipping? Oh, no, we're not. Showmaker going to have to walk the wrong direction to avoid the Tempered Fate. He is lasting a long time, but he gets kicked back to the open arms of Zeka.
Geiler Kick von Kanavi.
Another great Impale is going to come down, but it's only
Ein Damage?
Kanavi.
Nee.
Trying to
Nein. Nichts geht mehr.
just cannot
Nichts geht.
stand in this game anymore. And the curtains have been called by Gumayushi. Lucid able to avoid a couple of them, and he's very tanky. So he's not going to be dying at this point, but with 2 dead, I think this should be a free Elder for HLE.
Well, Elder should go straight to Baron. It's going to be very difficult to contest Baron. And then we have Elder and Baron. The push is
and Soul, I mean, it's Exodia, man.
There's literally no way, right? There's no way D+ could come back from this.
Absolutely not. It's impossible. 0 chance.
Xiu is just going to be free food as well.
Yep, they're going to test out their brand new dragon here, as it does just consume the crocodile.
On the other side of the map, you know, D+ can get some vision on Baron, but trying to control it is just, it's a bridge too far. It's actually like 3 bridges too far.
Yeah.
Maybe even like 3.5.
Wow, that's so many bridges.
D+.
Boah, er ist nicht LDA gegangen. What the fuck? Wow, er ist reported.
4 health points. And this Baron
is mies reported. Was ist das denn?
3 push waves. So they have the mid wave pushed up to the midway point. That's as far as Xiu can send. His career is just trying to buy further time. They're really just doing this to buy Elder time, as he has Edge of Night.
Yeah, so he's able to avoid the Tempered Fate.
This is just time buy, right? The Elder is ticking down a little bit here. Look at Showmaker's wave. He pushed out bottom lane. They pushed out the top wave with Smash. Like, D+ are just prepping for the defense right now, and they're doing a pretty good job of it. Showmaker's going to push this whole wave through. We'll even get a little bit of plate gold for his troubles. He will eventually need to come back because they need his wave clear for the defense, but he's done a really good job of keeping at least this bottom wave far from home.
Yeah, could be some bounty gold over to DK as well, which is kind of crazy. Smash does have decent wave clear, but against Baron, it's going to be a tough one. Okay, that's a cute little dash over the wall there from Zeus to deny the Bone Skewer. And there is that bounty gold we were talking about. Spending bounty gold when your Nexus is about to explode, it's not exactly the greatest of things, but look at these turrets, man. They are melting to the hands of HLE, who have every neutral everything except for the Groves at this point in the game.
Geo on the flank, just one more Hail Mary is all D+ have got.
They've still got 45 seconds on Elder, though. They cannot be starting a fight right now. It's just too dangerous. These minions are just so scary. Yeah, Shu just wanted to catch that wave. Will be able to do so as Delight getting sliced on here.
Skarnesbild ist auch weird. Nein, nicht so weird.
Looking to see who he can catch out of position.
Ist auch okay.
Flash away from the crocodile as he will
In dem Game vielleicht jetzt, aber generell das Item ist okay.
Almost burns down to the Elder, but these Nexus turrets, they are just dying. I'm not sure about that Tempered Fate, but it doesn't even seem to really...
Der Schubach in der Backline.
Getting into the backline, they realize
Story
they have
ist
to
so,
pull the
tschüss.
trigger. Kanavi fighting 3 of them, and finally HLE will get back to business. Gumayushi just needs to hit the Nexus a couple of times, and they will be bringing us to that 3rd game in this Legend Group series. An incredible one so far. The flash trail does nothing. The Scorpion burns down. Both junglers taking a little bit of a break here, but I think
GG.
the Nexus is going to take a break as well, and HLE will bring us to a deciding game in this series.
I think D+ putting on a clinic of base defense almost looks like
Okay, so wenn wir hier warten, schauen wir kurz bei JDG rein. Die spielen gegen TT. Die spielen gegen TT. Manaya ist stimmt niemals. Hallo Cookie, danke für 90er Stück. Dieser Locken-Champion, ne? Wow, 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 wow. This is balanced. Was auf Tonnen passiert, ist die Frage, ne? Als Matchup ist eigentlich ganz nice für Ambassade, beziehungsweise sehen wir es immer mehr gespielt, dass man besser into Rumble gepickt wird. Wisst ihr, was Zeit wird, dass Bundesliga startet? Dafür wird es Zeit. Oh. Großer Gott. Oh, großer Gott. Großer Gott. Oh. Jetzt stimmt Weiber schon noch besser. Nicht vergleichbar. Weiß nicht. Ach, fängt zweite schon nächste Woche an? What the fuck? Du hast ja immer früher anfangen. Ja, okay. Ist mal, also Flash belegt dann sicher ins Cool von Honkyu. Kann man nicht sagen. Flash raus. Oh, wait, actually? Wait a minute. Vampire ist auch noch tot. Moment mal. Moment mal, ist der Giga-Throw von JDG? Sollte immer noch fein sein. Gala wird sein drittes. Mir gefällt der Morisek nicht, aber die sollte immer noch fein sein. 3 ist bei Gala. Und ich sehe noch nicht so ganz, wie Arn das Game spielen soll. Gegen einen besser Javan Lock. Kamel. Junji, Nope. Und er macht noch seinen, Junge, Junji hat so missplayt. Oh mein Gott. Und dann benutzt der Vollidiot auch noch seinen Q, ne? Und Honky ist auch noch tot. Großer Gott, was machen die da? Ey, das sind Generational Inter, ne? Holy fuck. Es ist sehr hard to watch. Ja, der ist nämlich tot. What the fuck? Ist da immer nach mehr washed. Faker, Loller, sei wohl zuerst. Ist wahrscheinlich Faker, ja. Oh, eine ziemlich dumme Frage. Okay, es ist nicht so schwer tatsächlich, JDG. Ihr müsst wirklich eigentlich mit eurer Sivi auf 3 spielen. In fact, es ist sehr simpel, das Spiel zu gewinnen. Ram ist ziemlich stark als Antwort zu locker. Ich weiß ja noch nicht, ob das Liner sein wird, das ist, was du willst. Servus doch nicht washed. Ja, genau, that's the point. Also, Faker ist ja so gesehen auch nicht wirklich washed. Also, das ist einfach ein bisschen Rage-Bait, oder nicht? Boah, ist der scared. Kommt Javan durch Vega mit EQ? Nein. Okay, was macht dieser Rumble mit der Map außerdem? Das ist natürlich worth it. DK gegen Hanwha geht in Game 3. Wir gehen gleich rein, also ich hab's hier im Hintergrund offen. Warten nur kurz. Schauen wir, das ist das Game hier. Heute geht heute Platz weiter oder morgen? Weiß ich gar nicht. Mit dem sogenannten Free Win für Spirit. Heute. Der sogenannte Spirit Free Win. Der wird Arsch oder wie? Ich glaube, ich verliere gegen Spirit. Schaust du, ich habe so ein bisschen nebenbei, also wirklich so ein bisschen. Da bin ich gespannt, wenn jemand sagt, okay, erinnert mich dran, wenn CS startet. Dann habe ich es nebenbei offen. Dann mache ich nebenbei auf. Dann können wir das sehen. $15 heute, ja. Ja, Reminder. Immer geben um 15 Uhr bitte. Und dann Freewin. Ist genauso wie wenn ich nach einem Draft sage, ist ein Freewin. Ist es wirklich ein Freewin? Nein. Eigentlich, okay, to be honest, nee, das ist ein schlechter Vergleich. In League of Legends ist es meistens wirklich ein Freewin mit nach dem Draft. So wie DK Hanwha Game 1. Jo, war kein Freewin, oder? Full 18 Brain kann man dann nicht excusen, leider. Teamfight ist nicht so leicht für JDG, tatsächlich. Weil ich weiß nicht, also ich sehe die Vampire Flank. Oh, das war, okay, jetzt ist relativ, Galax tot. Arne ist auch tot. Oh, war ja beide Carries komplett rausgenommen. Also Honkyo hat keine Ulti. Und Cash ist halt Level 16, ne? Das heißt, Honkyo muss jetzt hier in die Breakdown reingehen. Ich habe keine Ahnung, wer hier gewinnt. Okay. Also JDG sind wirklich insane. Also, was passiert hier in diesem Split, by the way? JDG ist auf einmal... Also, diese haben die ganzen Jahre schon so ein bisschen Downfall gehabt nach First Hand. Aber die sind auf einmal horrible. Dann Weibo ist insanely horrible. Rebellion noch. To be fair, wie sie zusammen gespielt haben auf Gala, ist nicht verkehrt. Werde ich ihn lassen, ne? Der Equalizer war auch sehr gut. Oh, ja. Ist Jelly gekocht? Also die spielen wirklich nicht gut. Aber ich weiß auch gar nicht, welcher Teil es ist, weil Laning ist okay. Ah, du hast 3 Items bei Gala. Das Problem ist, du hast kein Flash jetzt. Wir haben gesehen, was passiert, wenn er Flash hat. Jetzt bin ich sehr gespannt, was passiert, wenn er keinen Flash hat. Und sie engagen. Oh Gott, ey. Oh mein Gott. Oh mein Gott. Wie kann man... Gewinnen die diesen Fight hier? Also Gala hittet noch, aber Gala hittet auch nicht wirklich. Ne, Gala ist tot. Holy fuck. Also wo die ihres... Also Junja, ne? Du bist reported, mein Brother. Der Draft geht gleich los. Wenn man so dermaßen Fights missplayen kann, ist insane. Wirklich insane. Und wir gehen rüber in Draft Game 3. Mann, das Game sieht sehr lost aus.
Time for a full set. Now, moving into Game 3 of Fearless. I know there's been a lot... I feel like the conversation has been dominated by... There's mages in the bot lane, and they keep losing. And there's less mages in the bottom lane left in Fearless for Game 3. Maybe
True.
We'll see Smash versus Guma and 80 carry versus 80 carry. Now, one of the things we've kind of glossed over is the obvious rivalry between these two as former starters on T1. And the, you know, obviously controversy that all ensued with that. Smash has moved into D+, Guma has gone to HLE, so they're on completely different rosters than their original starting point, but I feel like there's a lot to prove still, and there always will be between these two. And so far, you know, Smash smashed it in Game 1 on the Ezreal. In Game 2, though, Guma definitely got the better of him.
Oh, yeah.
As a true 80 carry on his classic Jhin, so it's just been a good series overall. Narrative-wise, storyline-wise, Hanwha 4 series ahead of D+ right now. There's a lot of catch-up to do if D+ want to push up to the top of the Legend group, but a win here would mean so much for either squad.
Oh, it certainly would. I think for D+, if they're able to show themselves in game number 1 that they can take down HLE, a team that completely wiped them off the Rift the last time they met up in that best of 5. It looked like a walk in the park for Hanwha Life Esports that time. This time around, they are making them work for it, as the Nocturne going to be banned away once again. The Poppy also. There is the lock ban that we were expecting. So we get into the draft for this one. It's first pick over to D+ Kia. Electing to go for that in the third game is like, it's kind of flip a coiny to me. I think that like counter pick can be so valuable, especially for a team like HLE.
I agree. We saw it in our last series, so it was incredibly important having that counter pick, as poor Gnar in the top lane did not have a good time.
No.
Akali banned away from Zeka here in this final spot. Locke was banned early. So what this final ban ends up being, it really depends on where Hanwha Life Esports want to send the beginning of this draft. The big Lee Sin blind pick is gone. Jarvan, I think, is one of the really premier jungle picks that's left available right now, as Caitlyn will only...
Nafiri, hallo, ist Nafiri kein Champion?
Value from Caitlyn across both of these AD carries who are very known for it.
Yep. Also denying Korea the Lux as well that he has shown such mastery on in the past as well.
Is what D+ Kia wanted first pick for was to get the Jarvan, but HLE are just going to slam Lucian Milio in response to have a dominant bottom lane. I don't really think we're seeing a mage here for Smash, but maybe some type of Lulu lane could be the answer here.
Oh, Yunara Lulu gegen Lucian Milio into free lose. Super.
But trying to fight fire with what's left available here.
Auch super natürlich.
Caitlyn banned, no Bard, pretty tricky.
Not sure I like the Xayah angle, personally. Yes, Lucian is lower range, but it means that you then have to fight him.
Hast du Xayah Rakan into Lucian Milio auch noch, Junge? Nee, oh, beides schrecklich.
Pretty yucky. The Yunara,
schrecklich.
The Yunara Lulu is going to come through instead, and I'm not sure whether I'm a huge fan of this one either. We've seen Yunara really struggle more recently as the blind Gnar comes
Kann nicht lane gegen Lucian Milio, das ist so schlecht.
To protect it on HLE's side. Zeus back to his debut champion here, something that he's very comfortable on.
They banned the Vayne. Ambessa is gone. They should be able to ban the Tristana, but it also leaves Shiu's Varus. Now, Shiu's Varus has been, if you're a D+ fan, it might make you grab your seat a little bit more tightly to hear those words.
What about the Aurelia counterpick?
I don't advise it.
Olaf. I mean, there's a... Oh, no, Olaf's gone.
He already did that one.
Yep.
Twisted Fate ban is pretty interesting.
Just helping Zeus out there a little bit. The 80 Twisted Fate not going to be countering the Gnar this time around.
Could be something that they could use to try to help protect the Gnar and look for further single target picks with this Lucian.
What does this mean for what Showmaker wants to play with a Twisted Fate ban? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know yet, as they will ban the Tristana, but the Varus is still available. And
Wo 6, ich finde 6 into Lucian Medio nicht so geil. Ich mag Lucian Medio gegen viele Mages.
But, you know, Trundle, I think, is probably not something Hanwha Life Esports are looking to play in this draft anymore, so is also kind of challenging. Maybe banning Wukong could be an option here. Yeah, that's what they're going to do, because that pick works well with the Lucian Milio. And even though you don't have great early game, you've got 2 lanes already that look pretty solid with the Gnar and the Lucian.
I would actually like them to save counterpick for Kanavi. I actually think the Trundle is a really big deal, because with the Yunara composition, you would kind of like to be able to run a tank, right? Front to back could be something that you could do here. Instead, looks like HLE are going to
Kiana
save counterpick for Zeka, and Kiana going to be locked in for Kanavi.
Or the other,
I'm nervous.
Plus the new D+ solid, the jungler who played Jarvan into Kanavi's Kiana did not have a fun time, but Lucid is a bit of a different beast. As we'll see what they decide to do here. Will it just be the Varus? Instead, looking for the blind Ahri.
An Yunara, nö, ich find's auch horrible. Also ich weiß halt, okay, ich weiß nicht, was du into Lucian Medio pickst. Weil der Kettenbanner ziemlich schlau ist. Ja, Spider-Man 1 bis 10, sorry, wenn ich schon aufgefallen, ich würde sagen 9 von 10. Ist, wenn wir mal Spider-Verse ausblenden, weil das ist für mich nochmal so eine extra Sparte, ist mein Lieblings-Spider-Man-Film. Also wirklich, von Start bis Ende hin war ich wirklich, ich war höchst zufrieden.
Keen once wisely said that most people consider the Gnar to be the counter, but he considers the Jax to be the counter. And I think that is in the eye of the wielder, right? And if she was confident that he could pull this off, it is a heavy risk, but it works so well with Lulu Jarvan. And follows up to Syndra really well. It's you can see it's 75% win rate. I think it's only been played 4 times this entire season. It's the year long. So very niche pick right now that Shiu is just going to slam down. This is what Shiu's done so much this year, is just saying, I'm not going to do conventional. I'm going to do me. Yeah, we'll see.
Quaylas Pick, irgendwas High Range würde so hart gehen hier. Die werden so mies outrange, wenn irgendwas High Range picken, bitte.
Difficult positions with some of his picks, but has also really popped off on a few of them as well. Zeka was thinking about whether it was a Silas angle.
Ich mach die Hand, man kommt deutlich mehr. Ich hasse Yunara Lulu.
Does come in. This will be able to help Kanavi stay alive in some of these fights, and also with the Gnar bouncing in, you can get in on top of him with that Gargoyle and provide a bit of a frontline, because there is not a lot of frontline for HLE right now. And so the Galio, being a very tanky boy, will be able to help out there.
I'm actually a big fan of the Galio here. I think it's really going to prevent a lot of the setup that D+ Kia are looking for, can weather the storm against the Syndra pretty well. The question is, can they get to Smash with this draft? Because I don't think they have an issue with damage with the Galio pick to come through here. I think they've got plenty of that with the upfront burst of the Lucian and the Kiana, as well as the Gnar. I think this, to me, of the 3 drafts, is the most difficult to say clearly one side has an edge. It's going to be all about execution. This is a banger Fearless draft here. Yeah, I do think there's a little
Lucian Medio kann es erst für X-Lane. Ja, ich weiß nicht sogar. Also Caitlyn ist auf jeden Fall sehr gut. Caitlyn ist definitiv sehr, sehr gut gegen Lucian.
But this one is shaping up to be.
Ich glaube, Zeri Lanes kannst du auch spielen.
With all the comfort across the board, Kanavi, Kiana, the Zeus, Gnar, and Guma. I mean, Lucian has basically been a Guma exclusive this season.
Yeah, and it was banned away in the last game, right? In game number 2, D+ got rid of it because they were scared of the Gumayushi Lucian. And let's see whether it's going to demonstrate exactly why as we get onto the Rift here for game 3. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. onto the Rift for the final game of this series. Who will it be? The EWC title holders or the MSI champions to win this one? As Zeka's gonna face check. Oh God! He gets a big old taunt and he does flash away, but Career is flashing after him. The only one to do so, Glitterland slows him down. Another couple of autos picked, help him out. As Lucid gonna need to drop a flag. They are hard committing for this. The flash forward, the heal. Zeka's still alive as finally he goes down and Smash gets first blood.
That's the problem with the escape attempt here from Zeka, is it turned into a 3v3 situation where, you know, he's just not going to be able to escape, or really, like, he wasn't going to be able to escape no matter what, but he gave the opportunity for someone other than a Lulu to get the kill. If he had just let the kill go over to Career there, I'm not sure if Career would have been able to drop the kill and just sit there. Either way, you know, a lot of summoners expended here for the side of D+. Career down his flash. Smash also committed his barrier in the play, which will hurt the 2v2, as you can see here.
Yeah. Smash looking a bit worse for wear, as we can see. That Glitterland's helping out, but HLE still in a phenomenal position. It looks like Smash is going to have to go back, and very happy that he gets... Oh, the flash forward from Shiu, but Zeus, he's got Meganar coming up, and now Shiu without that flash. Oh, man, still going to be able to create enough distance, but he's going to have to go home and expend that teleport.
Oh, that was a crazy moment there. I thought we were maybe about to witness the beginning of a Shiu collapse, but he does recover well. Now Smash gets the kill, buys a call.
Oh dear. Korea very dead. Yeah. So HLE gonna deny so much experience from the bottom lane.
And I don't think there's really anything that Lucid can do to punish this by crossing the river or anything like that. I was just gonna say that, yes, Smash gets the kill, but he had to use so much to do it. In retrospect, is it really helping him out that much? Because that money doesn't instantly convert into a 2v2 win. He has to get pushed out of the lane, or he is pushed out of the lane in the follow-up.
Sie sagt euch, Lucian Minion, die Yunara Lulu reinpickt, das ist ein Free-Lose.
So now Guma has the kill and the advantage in CS. So it is a give and take, a little bit of push and pull here.
Yep.
No summoners committed by Guma or Kanavi on that play either. So
the biggest winner is Showmaker. You can see it's 24-9 in CS in that mid lane. Not the greatest of moments because Zeka did get chased down and die. And I think that chase down is actually even more horrible.
Exactly, he spent so much time.
Yeah, exactly right. It's now Smash trying to fight against Gumayushi, but I don't think he really wants to. He's already...
2 AD Carries, ja, guck mal, aber das... Oh, für wen? Ich glaube, Hanwha überrennt die. Weil dieses Botlane-Match, du kannst dieses Botlane-Match... Versteht ihr, dieses Botlane-Matchup? Es ist ein Free-Lose. Ich sag euch jedes Mal. Yunara, Lulu, into Lucian Minion, die können nicht lanen. Es geht nicht. Du musst prayen, dass du irgendwie ins Midgame reinkommst. Irgendwie musst du ins Midgame reinkommen, ohne dass du komplett gestompt wirst. Und das bedeutet, dass die Lucian Minion Lane muss horrible sein, damit es funktioniert.
Campfire is rolling, and there's 2 longswords in Guma's inventory versus a Cull. And that sickle is not going to reap anything here for Smash in that 2v2.
Yeah, another fire kick is going to push Smash away
All
from
in Payment haben die besser gespielt. Preach, man.
This is slowly but surely going from bad to worse. We're
going to need help here, and Lucid is coming down.
Yeah, he's skirting the vision as well quite nicely. That control wall doing nothing.
Kein Flash bei Delight, der ist tot, oder?
They did have information that it was there.
Nee. Oh mein Gott, und Conor kommt von... Ja, die laufen nach oben. Ja, die werden jetzt hier humiliated.
Flash and barrier both up and available, like you were saying. Relentless Pursuit now going to be used to smash.
Humiliation Ritual live on stream.
And yeah, Lucid's just going to have to escort him out of there.
Kanavi still has flash as well. I think he should be able to escape, but again, he's out of the lane.
Ja, jetzt ist die
Guma
Gromp weg.
played that so well. He's like, I have barrier advantage for a few more seconds, and there might actually even be able to turn this into further advantages now, as yes, Smash is going to be able to back, but there's 2 members here who don't have a whole lot of help.
And this Yunara is not getting any minions
Midlane ist over.
That Cull is taking a while to stack up. Good hop there from Zeus to get out of the way of Shiu, who's taking hyper damage here in this top lane. And, you know, Keen's school of Jax versus Na is maybe a class that Shiu skipped, perhaps, because this lane is not going the way that they really want it to. It is early days, so it shouldn't be...
Schau den Damage an.
Let's have a look at this one from Gumayushi.
Das ist so eine Frechheit.
Yeah, Smash just taking so much damage here because he has 2 longswords.
krank.
He's got a Lulu
Geiler Sidestep auf dem Vedo.
here that's just not going to offer that much damage or utility when you're that far behind. And
Hey, Flecke hittet oder bin ich blind? Nicht drauf geachtet, kann ich nicht
Rockin'
sagen.
and poppin'. I actually prefer what I wish we saw the first-person view of what happened when Lucid came down and Guma was able to react and realize he had actual kill pressure there as well.
Ich werde da mal tun, ne?
Standing his ground. I don't know whether he really wants to.
So eine Frechheit.
Taking so much damage. Light shows up. Slurkle is going to be there to do a bit of damage to Gumayusi, but Kanavi, he's back in this bottom lane, and there is no vision here for D+. Finally, Control Wall goes down, gets the bad news that he's once again going to have to go home.
Yeah, and Lucid's farming the minions, but Kanavi is farming this bottom lane. Even though he's behind a camp right now, he is doing so much to get Guma accelerated in this one. We talked about weak side Guma. This is the antithesis of that, where Kanavi lives in the bottom lane and Guma is set up to succeed. 700 gold ahead, playing this bottom lane brilliantly, following up incredibly well, and now Smash, he picked up that coal, but he's not even farming that because he can't get any of these minions.
Yeah, he's only managed to get 30 on that one. Went back and bought the cull with CS, which is just a pretty sad one.
Oh.
Lucid comes on over, just bonks Zeka on the head momentarily, and does force him to miss out on that cannon. So still, I mean, it is a big lead for Showmaker. He's 600 gold ahead, but I mean, everywhere else is HLE favored, and Gumayusi has an even larger lead than what this Syndra has been able to put together. Now, outplaying the Syndra as the Lucian will be hard if she does get accelerated.
Yeah, that's true. Because she will just simply be able to, with any sort of setup, including her own, just press R and do burst damage. But it takes a while for us to get to that point. Because, yes, she's right now 700 gold ahead of a Galio who doesn't have money. Whereas Guma is actually on 2 kills, has 2 items, or 2 components rather, is looking for that first item, Essence Reaver, here pretty soon. And he is going to actually be online right now. There is no, later necessarily. He's just ready to continue to further this advantage, give his team dragons, and fight every fight that D+ present to him. So I agree with what you're saying. I think there are tools here to shut this one big win con down, but consider also the Jax is behind. Yeah, not having a good time. And it's crazy how volatile that level 1 went, right? This is the kind of thing it's hard to scrim for. This is the kind of situation it's hard to identify what the correct play is. And I think the rest of the team were able to figure it out for D+, but in the follow-up, Smash didn't play the 2v2.
So, also TSV gematcht und dann ist DK first. Ne? Das Problem ist, also DK ist first, aber Hanwha ist halt deutlich stärker. Oh, sie matchen gar nicht. Oh.
So far ahead in just straight up 2v2, and then Kanavi had such an easy lane to play through. So level 1 looked like it was a...
Das heißt, er öffnet nur into Mitte rein. Oh, jetzt, nee, jetzt based er, what? Also Zeus State, diese eine Wave extra, die spielen jetzt direkt Drakes mit potenziellen Numbers und dann geht Zeus Botlane?
Guma becomes too big to fail and D+ don't get to play this third game, but that does seem like the trajectory we're on right now is that Essence Reaver is done for Guma.
Whoa, that's a nice double gnaw there from Zeus. Gets the barrier out of Smash. Still gonna have to walk away because there's not a lot left in the tank. There's a decent little taunt to move on in, but it looks like HLE are focused on the grubs. They'll take all 3 of them without anyone really here to try and contest. And so Lucid just going to be clearing out what camps he can find right now. And the gold advantage for Guma is only extending. Boomerangs flying around. At least now Smash and Korea will have some time away from the very dangerous Lucian, and it's Sheer that has to now deal with it.
Yeah. Guma just has to play safely here as they're just trying to funnel money into Smash and Career on the other side of the map while also putting the pressure onto this Gnar. I mean, Guma, with Essence Reaver, I guess he doesn't really need to play safely in this matchup. He's got Relentless Pursuit to avoid any sort of engagement from Shio. Shio's flashback, so that's somewhat scary, but now Delight's here, and he is just going to be living in the lane swap meta.
Yep.
And we all know how that goes.
Just not a whole lot of fun, I would say, for the Jax.
Meanwhile, the Gnar is doing the same, but already had a lead, so it's kind of just chilling because Gnar is also a range champion. It's very difficult to punish here by a Yunara Lulu lane, even with level 6.
Weiß nicht, ob ich das so geil finde, weil du kannst halt die Bull, also auch Botlane, du kannst halt so hart bullen. Ich weiß nicht, ob gegen Shibu, der ist halt okay-ish, right?
Next to his name that you won't be pressing the ultimate button for anytime soon.
All right. Jax was a decent champion in the lane swap meta. But Lucid gonna be still coming on over to try and defend. Counter-Strike can just make things awkward and annoying, and so see whether he can actually use that effectively.
Die kann CT führen, ja, abmelden.
To go in and take down
JDG ist wirklich, also, ich weiß wirklich nicht, wo das Problem ist. Also, Vampire ist... Vampire und Gala sind rough.
Flashing as Smash
I don't know.
gets the Arc of Ruin, but not going to be able to do enough. Still, the hop into the Flash going to be enough to get Zeus out of there, but now will not have Flash.
All right, now they have Galio ult here to try to chase Shiu down.
He has to flash to get out of the way of that culling. Kanavi was already on his way over.
Looks like it's going to be an early first brick here for HLE as they just push him out.
And that's even more money.
He's lost his flash. That's a huge tool for him to try to do anything in this lane swap.
Wow,
he needs that. Okay, we'll get
actually a bisschen bad jetzt.
Next wave. But he needs that flash if Lucid's going to come over and bail him out, right? But now he doesn't have it. Lucid wasn't there in time. And it's just a big disaster here for D+ and HLE. They're making all the right choices. Kanavi knows where his pressure point is, and he and Guma are running away with this game.
They really are. And so now it feels like Showmaker versus Gumayusi. That is kind of this game. And I don't know whether this Syndra is going to be enough to be able to take him down, because Guma can really take over team fights on this champion. We'll have so much more in the tank after that initial round of spells. As now without Flash, Zeus might be susceptible. As the Counter-Strike comes down, holds the Leap Strike nicely to Shiu, so he stays in range.
Oder? Der Shot kommt keiner. Oh mein Gott.
Zeus going to push them away. He didn't have ulti.
Yeah.
They still just back off.
I mean, Career could have looked for the wild growth there. They just didn't have information in the river, so they were
like,
I don't like the way this looks. I know Kanavi's very likely nearby. He was. But I think that was a small window where they could have tried the wild growth. They just didn't have the information. So Zeus walks away scot-free. And now it's HLE, the aggressors.
Yeah. Gumayushi's also walking up. Supreme Display of Talent is completely avoided. But there's the heroic entrance. Wild growth for the Lucid to make him a bit tankier. Big old taunt comes down as even Zeka getting involved. Zeus
kein Flash. Igitt. Igitt.
To make it work. They go 1-for-1 on the jungle. And it's way closer than I expected.
Fuck, this is nasty.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't have enough damage there to actually get the big punishes when the CC came down.
Ganz miese
Angelegenheit. 1-for-1
hey.
there. Looks like it was potentially going to be much worse there for D+. The Kanavi ultimate really didn't get a ton of value the way they wanted it to with the Insta Flash. But in the bottom side of the map, at least Smash for D+ is able to get some gold. So watching this here, see the Flash comes through instantly. They try to turn this onto Kanavi with a wild growth stun combo, but there's no damage, and he's not under turret anymore. So they turn on to Zeus, he's got Mega. We're in the mid lane, looks like Showmaker trying to make a play. Unsuccessful. This ends up being a 1-for-1 here. Zeus walks away again scot-free.
Well, they try and get that information as to where Gumayusi is. Showmaker still just hunting for some Scatter the Weeks, and he will be able to find it.
Getting a Dragon here is pretty big for D+, considering the game state.
Yeah, it might help even things out a little bit. It is a 2,000 gold advantage for HLE, but feels like that could have been worse. Still giving up an Ocean Drake, not exactly end of the world, as Smash will be able to crash another wave towards this bottom side. Has cashed in the Cull as well. It's helped try and claw back that gold advantage. It's a Hextech all this game as well, which is kind of ridiculous.
Again, it feels like it's Hextech all the time these days. Smash getting a lot of money here, and Zeka is also being denied gold, so that's still good for D+. And the fact that the Jax got the kill topside means that all it takes is just one moment where the map gets opened up, and Shiu is a strong...
Je mehr JDG beide befüllt, desto wütender bin ich auf Tabe, ne?
None of the grubs, so... There are ways back into this game for D+. I wouldn't predict
also, ich kann ihn jetzt nicht dafür blamen, nicht weiter mit Hope machen, weiter geliebt zu sein, weil Hope da geblieben ist und weil er einen fetten Patch bekommen hat bei GG, aber trotzdem nicht so.
I think HLE are the team under pressure, though, to make something happen, because all of this spare time that Smash has is working out for him as, the buffer on the flag and drag.
Das war sehr lucky, der EQ.
Almost by accident there for Lucid, as Scatter the Week is going to connect onto Kanavi.
Lucid's face there makes it feel like it definitely might have been.
Mitte kracht so hart bei Hanwha, ne? Mal schauen, wie OP Sunrise.
Gets out there as fast as he can and is able to buffer that stun. The turret trade isn't first brick for HLE because they already got that one on the bottom side, but they get a second one. But the fact that D+ are trading turrets, again, at this game state.
Was soll ich mit dem Elch? Ja. Manche Leute, manche General Manager, auch in EU, die wollen einfach nicht gewinnen, das ist immer so.
I don't want to say he's going to struggle to get a bigger lead here, but it's not going to be as easy now as it was in the bottom lane. And they turned this lane swap, even though it was a big sacrifice for Shiu, into kind of a big success.
Oh, Scatter is going to connect onto the Melio. Force of will, the ulti, and Showmaker just pops to life like a balloon. Kanavi trying to take down this Rift Herald. He will be successful.
Ulti drauf.
And let's see what we can get out. The answer is no. Down goes the Kiana. Now Flash is flashing in. I'm not sure about it, but the rest of his team.
Willst du mal sagen, haben wir für dieses Game?
And down goes Zeus. The Inara is now officially online.
The eye is on the ground.
Oh
Atlas.
no!
The gold from the Herald, but you lost your lead. Smash only a kill behind now. As we watch this again, first scatter, boom, Delight's chunked. Ult comes through, he's burst. And they still hold the Herald here, even though they're outnumbered. Look at where Zeus is right now, or sorry, where Zeka is right now. He's so far away. It's really easy to follow here over the wall for Smash. And Zeus just not that tanky. They have CC to back this up. They've got no jungler. Guma survives.
Flashed at the end there too.
Yeah, he survives, but he has to flash.
Aber alle Teams wieder horrible, oder was?
For him to do the damage necessary. It's too split up. They spent everything to try to get that Herald. They do not get the eye. And in the blink of the Herald's eye, we're at an even game state here. Deep
Wie waren die Matches bis jetzt? Alles low.
And now Gumayusi has to play
Ganzer Tag heute war low.
Jax, which now has almost a gold advantage. It's like 88, so it's not real, right? It's very, very slight.
But suddenly side lane threat as well as talking about. You just get one team fight like that, and bam! Now Jax starting to take turrets off the map is going to require resources to.
Boah, dass der Jax jetzt halt 200 Gold ahead, das ist so eine Frechheit, ne? Das ist krank.
Gold. He's, got the first one very cost efficiently, right? But is going to go splat if the team fights don't go well, and this suddenly a Smash that's very, very threatening. Not in this 2v2 here, but
exactly. Guma is still definitely to be feared on the Rift right now. As Fire Kick connects onto Korea. Smash looking a little worse for wear, but they still want to start something. Kanavi in such a cute.
Auf Genji kann ich mal irgendwie raffen. Ich glaube, Genji, also ich habe es gesagt, ich glaube, Genji immer noch bestes Team der Welt. Mal sehen. Battlefield gestern war sehr, sehr nice. Big recommendation. Spider-Man-Film.
Throws his crown over towards him.
War super.
There are a lot of T1 skins in the game right now, by the way. This particular game. Zeka rocking Faker's one. I believe Smash has Gumayushi's one, which is very funny.
Nee, das Spirit Blossom, oder?
So yeah, there's just a lot of representation.
All right, Lucid here.
Oh, Lucid's got Cyanide's one. Not a T1 player.
Not going to have his Gromp either. He's obviously going to take that away from him. 40 seconds till this first Hextech Dragon. I mean, look, I'm so relieved that we actually get a game here in this third one, because for so much of that early game, it just looked like, even though Showmaker was pulling ahead, I didn't think they were going to have the agency, but I'm going to make a little bit of a mistake. Showmaker makes a proactive play, gets the first catch there. They've got the CC on the Herald fight. Hanwha Life, something about that Baron pit today. It's given D+ big opportunities. They get the big punish, and now the game is really anyone's to take, right? It's a small lead for Shiyu, right? Zeka's not in this game in terms of gold relevance, but is still so much utility for this comp that's still very online right now, as Lucid is going to find out.
Yeah, there is the scat of the week. Lucid still has to get out of there, though, because the heroic entrance is so scary. Smash also gets a big old shield, but the culling is going to come down. And just typewriter DK. Cataclysm in Guma, able to escape at the Arc of Ruin.
Holy fuck, ist das eine Shitshow.
Fighting off to the side in their own sort of little battle here.
Und keiner jemand den Herald.
There's a lot of damage that's been taken, but Honey Fruit advantage is here for HLE.
They're on the Dragon. They have full prio control. They do not.
Oh, teleport in.
Have a Gnar, and there's that TP from Showmaker. If he
Die
shows
müssen
up,
sofort den Drake machen und out of here. Oh Gott, Kanavi's fucked.
These health bars from HLE, they're going down so low, but Zeka makes his way in. Kanavi just explodes. Showmaker takes him out. The Drake is
das ist keine Syndra-Ulti. Wow, das war gutes Teamfighting von Gumayusi. Das war sehr gutes Teamfighting von denen. Wenn wir nach Endgame nicht mehr wirklich Marvel geschaut haben, kann man den trotzdem schauen. Ich würde noch No Way Home schauen. Oder halt, basically, ich würde ja die Spider-Man schauen, ja. Die Initial-Trilogie von Tom Holland. Und ansonsten musst du, glaube ich, nichts schauen. Ja, ich glaube, ansonsten bist du fein.
Even though the poke was there and the health bars were low for Hanwha Life Esports, Showmaker can only find the kill on Kanavi, and it's a second too late.
Der hab ich gesehen, dann bist du fein. Dass wir überlegen, ob noch irgendwas referenced wurde. Ich glaube nicht. Ich glaube, du bist fein dann, ja. Wenn Jackson 5 Minuten, ich glaube, da muss gutes Teamfighten her. Also die haben ja genug CC in Teamfights, theoretisch.
He can't get access to the ones he needs, and he used his ultimate on Kanavi. Sure, he got that kill, but the objective still went over. He can't get out. It's 3 on the floor, and Honor Life Esports take the Dragon lead.
Man. All right. It's only 2 dragons, though. This is the crazy part, right? With 1 dragon...
Der letzte Parlament, der davor und der mit den mehreren korrekt, ja.
There's still a couple of drakes to worry about before that soul is going to be coming on through. I don't know whether that is enough of a silver lining, though, to make them feel better. It's a 4-0-1 Gumayusi Lucian in this game. And there's now also a big lead for Kanavi, which is kind of crazy. 1-3-1, but still 1,000 gold ahead with just how much Lucid's been bullied this game.
Yeah, it's... Okay, hold up. Zeus.
He just steals it away! Oh, highway robbery. Lucid didn't have a smite. And now the outer turret in the mid lane is going to go down. This snowball definitely a rollin'. Smash, it always seems like he's on half health this game.
Well, it's because Guma keeps walking up to him, proccing his passive, and just putting her on.
Weil da ich fertig bei Gumayusi.
Right now,
Ooh. Cute little scatter comes in. Zeus wants to steal more of Lucid's stuff.
Die sind 3 so gefährlich,
Lucid didn't have flash. If he has flash there, I think they probably try to make something of it, but can't really close the gap. Doesn't want to risk it with Kanavi right there. And Guma can really just walk up with impunity because he has Emilio with ult standing right next to him, as well as Kanavi on the cross. Yeah, very difficult to punish, and Lucid can't get access to the punish there on the Zeus, can't get access to the solution. And it's like Hanwha have Baron.
Yeah,
wow.
This is kind of crazy.
Ist es Solo-Kill? Ja, ist es, ne?
Supreme Display of Talent comes down, he flashes.
Was?
He takes out Showmaker.
Okay.
But Showmaker does get the
Oh, geiler Cancel von Delight.
Does claim the wild growth and stays alive just barely. Felt like a little bit of an unforced error that didn't go punished that time.
A trade of kills like this, I feel like, is pretty good for D+, all things considered, especially because the Jax is in the side lane here, is probably going to get a plate at best on this turret, but has been given a lot of extra time to pick up some additional money and experience here. He's a whole level behind, so he needs it really badly. It also means that the real backbone of this comp for Honor Life Esports can't continue to put the pressure on here. I think they could have been content with just pushing this turret and controlling the mid lane, but they wanted more. And yes, they got Showmaker, but it's a trade here, and they are unfortunately unable to get more as this wild growth here for Career.
Oh, it was the kickback from Delight. Never mind. I'm sorry, Lucid. I will put respect back on your name because he was just kicked out of range.
Yeah.
Oh, it was really cute.
And without Career being at that exact right moment, right spot there, trying his best to press the wild growth. I remember when just a few months ago, Career was trying to wild growth people who were dead 1000%.
One for one zu machen, ja, ich meine, sonst wäre er ja auch solo gekillt worden. I don't know. Kann man so und so sehen. Die Sache ist, er ist halt 1700 Gold vorne, ne? Diese Cashback, First Strike Interaktion ist so crazy.
That was, again, more about other aspects of it, but he had the wild growth. If that wasn't there, would have died either way. But Honor Life Esports are in such a commanding position in this game still, despite the extra time that Shiu had there, despite the fact that that was a 1-for-1 as Showmaker went down.
JG, by the way, einen weiteren Free-Win-Draft in Game 2, Chaos von der 11.
That's where D+ struggled last time. This time they don't have the Showmaker flank.
And also, they don't have an Infinity Edge on Smash. Gumayusi just finished that. This is a perfect item spike for HLE.
BLG und JDG spielen am Sonntag gegeneinander? Nee. Warte, meine Schedule? Nein. Das ist Schedule falsch. Ist hier Top Esports gegen JDG am Sonntag. Oh, ja. Ich hab's gerade noch copy-pasted, ich Idiot.
Oh man, they are moving towards.
Meinst du, die Rundenpatch wird auf Talon ausdrücken? Ja, ich glaube, die gegen Conqueror? Ich weiß nicht.
Okay, HLE
ich update die Schedule nochmal, sorry. Ich glaube, ich habe die zu einer horrible Zeit gemacht. Kann auch sein, dass heute Abend das Quiz ausfällt. Nur als FYI.
Yeah, so Zeus is going to try and chase him down. Grandmaster's Might comes in. Drake now secured for D+.
Ooh, they almost baited Zeus in. Well, I guess I can't say that for sure, but they were trying to bait Zeus in. Zeus does not go any further there, trying to get the kill onto the Jax. Would have probably lost his life for it, which would have been a big win for D+. D+ keep getting these unseemingly possible wins despite everything, but it's still just not enough, as maybe they'll get this Unforeseen win on the Zeka as well with this TP flank from Shiu. It's going to take a while.
Justice Punch is going to be interrupted, but Zeka just gets out of there. And he's got Imperial Mandate now. He basically doesn't have
Der Jackson auch nicht fighten kann. Ich glaube, der gewinnt einfach nicht so. Also der kann keine sein, oder? Ich glaube nicht, dass das Silent Matchup so one-sided ist. Also wenn die sich auf den Tod schlagen, dann gewinnt der Jax wahrscheinlich, aber ich glaube nicht, dass es so leicht ist.
But I think Soul Point is so valuable, especially when it's Hextech Soul. And they did forego that in order to get the purple worm.
Yeah, and that's temporary compared to Soul Point being something you're going to have for, well, until you get Soul. Yeah, as Zeus has a Gnar here, but trying to dive this could be risky, especially to Showmaker having Peel here, as well as Lucid's Cataclysm. Just be happy with the inner, I think is what HLE are thinking. Yep, and they will just take this one down and further their lead. We're only 25 minutes into this game, so they don't need to break the base open right now. I think they are very aware that they are massively ahead. There's still no IE for Smash. It should be getting it pretty soon here, but Guma's got half of his next item. TP committed from Zeka. They are going to try to siege this base open now. If D+ make a mistake, it could be even more they get.
Yeah, Scatter does come in. Zeus takes a fair bit of damage there, but nothing to worry about. They are just now chasing Shiu away. He dives in, supreme display of talent, but he goes golden with that arm guard that he just purchased. Still breaking that is so dangerous. Does have flash, might need to use it defensively, holds onto it, which is crazy.
Guma doesn't flinch. He doesn't flash in this situation. He waits to see if Shiu's going to commit further. He had so many teammates nearby. I think it was the right call from Shiu to back out there and not try to commit. The rest of their teammates peel. Buy some time on what's left of this Baron. It looks like no inhibitors nor...
Gestern Werbung rausgehauen, morgen direkt pushen, sprich. Aha. Aha, sehr gut.
Expire. D+ are hanging on by a thread. The IE is done for Smash now so late in this game, but every single fight for the rest of this game can be won by D+ if for any reason Guma is caught and burst down, and they have a lot of tools. Guma's positioning has been phenomenal this game. He has 0 deaths to his name, and so far, with the control they have right now,
ist solange das nehmen, dass ich schon Schach nebenbei spiele.
But if they do, that's a big if. There might be a window back in, and D+ are always
Position.
going to be fishing for
Ich
that
gönne.
angle.
Yep, and Zeka can also provide so much safety for this Lucian as well. This Galio is going to be a big problem moving later on into the game, because diving onto Gumayushi can often be a one-way trip if the Gargoyle just flies down on top. And then you have Kanavi and Zeus with decent damage there as well. As Kanavi going to get his back stopped here. Does back away.
Through the edge of night.
Ja, ich habe gesehen, dass sie traden, Aiming und so.
To get it done, but they do stop his back. Not going to be too significant. The Dragon is a whole minute and a half away.
Yeah, and it's only for a third Drake on either side.
Serpent's
not ridiculous. That's 4 items done for Kanavi.
He has, as long as he's hitting these squishy targets, which are basically everyone here for D+, especially the most important ones, the ones that are doing the damage, they don't last very long, and it's the most cost-efficient way to get your Kiana to 4 items with the lead he has. Makes a ton of sense. That's how he's going to optimize here. He's 3 levels up on Lucid. But in a longer fight, if there's no one to kill Smash, Guma dies, could still do it. I'm just writing the, I'm doing the caster thing where I lay out what could go wrong. It's not over till it's over.
Die fertig haben für den Drake-Fight.
Very over. But the base is still up. And like you said, this is not Hextech Soul because they forwent it for that Baron instead moments ago. Showmaker picks up Crypt Bloom. Small piece-by-piece tools making this D+ roster formidable the longer we go into this game.
But he doesn't even have a lead anymore. Zeka has just been so much freer in these side lanes. Taunt is going to be fantastic here from Zeka, as Gumayushi will execute Lucid. Absolutely nothing he can do. Shiu throws down the Counter-Strike. Slurkle is decent to try and stop Gumayushi from just murdering everyone, but that is only going to delay the inevitable. And with Lucid dead, that is a guaranteed Dragon here in 20 seconds.
Now, this pick is just a symptom of the larger problem here. D+ have no real estate they can operate around on this map, and now without a jungler, trying to contest for Dragon Prio is not even a possibility. As you mentioned, Zeka's ahead now because he's been sitting inside so long, because he could follow from so far away, and then even in this situation, he turns an engage into a double taunt, into a knock-up, and into the burst damage here from Guma, who's so ready to follow up. Shiu's been able to soak these callings with his counter-strikes to escape, but
Jetzt
it doesn't give them anything back. Guma's going to solo the Baron because he's so large in this game that he doesn't need anyone's help. Kanavi comes over to help secure.
Helps anyway. But yes, was absolutely unnecessary. He's got 4 items, and Lucid has 2, and then a funny shirt and a small sword. Yeah. Kanavi looks like he's at like the end of the RPG, like talking to his friend who's still like trying to play the tutorial, you know? That's what it kind of looks like.
Yeah, it looks like Kanavi's at the save point before the final boss, and Lucid is like just got to disc 2.
Yeah, he's like, wait, this game has a new game plus, and Kanavi's like, yes, indeed, it does, sir. Yeah, this is a very scary Kiana, is what I'm trying to say. 4.4K, it's just a massive lead. Still, I mean,
BOP-LD auf Assassin's Creed? Nein.
There's like, you know, there's things you can say.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there are ways this could go wrong, which is why HLE still need to play this carefully. They play this crisply, but now the Baron's up.
Yeah, ultimate
Zeke. Flashdown von Shivu.
It's a lot of burst damage. The culling comes down. Shivu has found Zeka. Taunt comes in, Justice punches down, but there's a leap strike back up again. Solo kill for the Jackson.
Okay, was passiert hier schon wieder? Flash down auf Mitte und Botlane auch. Hä?
Becoming a big problem.
Kuma does not have flash now. So again, that's the whole.
Ja, aus dem Nichts, by the way.
Kuma, to win this game, needs to keep that 0 a 0. Now he has no flash, and if he dies on a potential Baron take here for HLE, which is much less likely, much less appealing without it, or on this attempt to get Hextech Soul, again, everything could fall apart in just an instant. Like you said, Kanavi has 4,000 of this gold lead, and if he just goes splat as well because he's not tanky, Zedge Knight will buy him a little bit of space, but if he gets caught by a stray scatter without it, and follow-up from Lucid is there, he just dies as well. So they really need to be extremely cautious. Guma's reaction time there and how he played it was brilliant, but because of it, and because of the position he was in before that, he is now flashless, which could be, again, a potential way.
A potentially dangerous. Wait, Shiu, what are we doing, buddy?
Tot. Alter, macht der Damage. Alter, macht der Lucian Damage.
Tiniest little supreme display of talent comes in.
Hat wieder ab, oder?
Nee,
doch nicht.
just dead.
Zeke hat aber keinen Flash.
But I don't know whether it's worth. Smash at least picks up that kill. 4 versus 4. No Jax, no Galio. And Zeus with no Narbar as well. And Smash will soon not have an ultimate. They're just waiting for that one to be gone.
Also Zeus hat keinen Flash, Gumayoshi hat keinen Flash. Oh mein Gott. Schönes Mikael. Oh, Smash. Holy fuck.
That is not going to work. I think DK have done it.
The Flag and Drag interrupted Guma's dash. It's like he was dashing forward mid-air. He just barely got caught on the edge of it, and Smash comes in. Follows up with the burst. Guma's dead. And this Baron is up for grabs here. They are rushing through the Hex Gates to come over, but I think they are just going to have to watch as this one fades away. D+ are still 4,000 gold behind, but this could change everything. No jungle here.
Ist kein Jungler.
Zeus level 19.
Zeke hat Ulti ab.
Try and turn. They're looking for it.
Zeke hat Ulti ab, by the way. Wait.
No smite in this pit. Zeus does manage to hit the Mega, but
oh my God.
There is the kill from Showmaker. He moves himself out. Look at these health bars. They're so low.
Oh my God. 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 It's nasty. It's nasty.
Really awkward spot. And Lucid looking to make his way into the Baron pit. He is going to get in. That will be Baron secured. Can he get out? That's the question. I don't know whether he can, but I don't know whether it matters. He can.
Junge, ey.
D+ now find themselves almost in an advantage.
Guma's respawn. I don't know if they could push this wave in to try to at least make sure this mid wave is so far away. Now, keep in mind, there is still a mid-outer turret to go through here for D+. We are so far away. Just watch Guma in this fight. Initially, it looks like, okay, Shiu's overextended here. This is a disaster. But Kanavi and Zeka go far forward here, and now Smash has an angle to play through. Yes, Shiu sacrificed himself on the other side.
Dieses Open Space Fighting für Kanavi ist halt insanely horrible.
Guma's trying to rejoin Kanavi because he needs damage for Peel because he's not tanky. And watch Guma. It is insane, this angle here for Lucid. Guma walks forward. It's crazy. He's just on the edge.
Und dann Smash halt mit Hero Planer. Schon gut. Boah, er hat 1-1 bekommen. Ich will nicht die... Was haben die Items? Was haben wir für Items auf der Inventar jetzt?
And then here in this moment, Zeus is definitely alone not going to be able to get this done. But they have
Er wollte hier halt setupen für die Galio-Ulti, right? Deswegen läuft er weiter nach vorne.
nice with the Baron doing so much work. He gets Mega and Delight stays,
Ja.
which looks crazy because he's Emilio 1v3, but it's because he wants to give the taxi to the Galio. Gets the kill onto the Lulu, but they cannot finish off Smash, and this buys enough time for Lucy to come in here and secure the smite. Crazy.
So, Soul.
It looked like it was going to
Fight.
be a one-sided affair, but like we said so many times.
Vielleicht jetzt ab bei Gumayushi gleich wieder.
Oh my god, Shiu, stop it! He's just playing right on the
Holy fuck, die alles von Smash. Hat GA ab, hat aber kein Flash jetzt.
Deciding game between DK and HLE. He's now diving in towards Zeka. The inhibitor turret in the bottom lane almost died, by the way, as Gumayushi
Jesus fucking
got
Christ.
so much burst damage every time Smash moves forward like that.
Splash is
so
back.
Scary. Culling, not really doing
Horrible
too much
culling.
here. As the taunt is set up by Zeka, but the scatter hits onto 2 Kanavi, taking a lot of damage.
Oh, Lose ist tot. Zeka 1 HP. Zeka hat kein Flash. Losing für Hanwha, oder? Ja, Losing. Das ist krank. Das ist krank. Das ist krank. Dass sie das zweimal so geworfen haben, ja, das ist krank.
Yeah, Showmaker's popping off as well, man.
They are riding the momentum from Paris. And
Krank.
the squad says maybe the second international title was greater than the first, and they'll take HLE out in the first matchup of the Legend Group between these two. Unbelievable turnaround from D+ Kia.
This game was the most ridiculous demonstration of mental fortitude.
Krank.
The most proud dad vibes I have seen.